What is up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. See a bunch of y'all are already here in the chat, so what's up? Let me talk to y'all real fast before we get into everything. All the stuff I want to talk about. Let's say what's up to everybody who's here chilling in the chat already. Kidred 1998, what's going on? Hello, I have a question. What is the Super Adaptoid? Is it going like a Mazo from DC? Because the Marvel Legends figure has like absorb people's abilities or powers in parts of their costume. So I tried to get on this right before we started. Basically, Super Adaptoid came around in the 1967 is when he first started showing up, battling the Avengers, or 1966. And then Amazo was created in 1960. So he originally started off fighting the Justice League, kind of a supervillain, absorbing all their powers. Every time they fought him was a different lineup, so he was able to master different powers of the JLA. Super Adaptoid basically sticks to fighting the Avengers. Sometimes he fights Captain America, Iron Man on their own, but that's kind of his deal. I feel like we kind of missed a little something with this costume form because we don't really have the cool version of the Super Adaptoid that we should have gotten from this Marvel Legends figure. He's kind of like he's missing some of those cool costume elements. So we see a few, they're kind of teased, but it's not like when you think of Super Adaptoid. And I'm going to pull up one really quick and easy one. This is from Etsy, but it's exactly what this guy looks like. Let's see here. So I can pull it over all the way so you can check a look and actually see how the Super Adaptoid should look. So this is him. He's got a shield. He's got the hammer. He's got wasp wings. He's got Hawkeye's bow and arrow. So it's just a lot of things that's the Super Adaptoid. So you see he's got these boots here. And what we got from the figure from Marvel Legends is not quite that at all. And it's a little bit disappointing because I really feel like that was something that they could have knocked out a little bit better just from putting a few more things, a bit more to that figure. I mean, this is what we got with the Super Adaptoid. So you can see he's missing the really cool elements. He's missing those wings. He's missing the bow and arrow of Hawkeye. He's missing the shield. So it's just like there's some major things to this figure. I'm sorry, we do have the shield. It's the Captain America shield, but it's just like, guys, there's so much more we could have gotten with the Super Adaptoid, and we did not. So that is your question. Also, the Target exclusive Black Widow that comes. Black Widow, what comic book run is she from? Is she from the classic Jack Kirby and Stan Lee era of comics or from a later comic book run? So let me show you what Black Widow used to look like early on in the Avengers, because it's more of a modern take, but it's kind of like it works pretty well for most of her generic looks. The only real difference is her vest top part is open. And for the most part, Black Widow's outfit has really stayed the same. She's not a character they've tried to advance and change the look up too much. I'll just pop this up so you can see here. This is what Black Widow looks like. Or this is more of her classic look. So you can see she's got the wasp stings. She's got the belt, and her vest top part is closed all the way up. That's about it. I'm going to break down the Black Widow soon, though. So there you go. 80s kids from the 90s. I'm looking forward. What's up, brother? I'm looking forward to Commander Rogers, Black Widow, Bucky Cap, Secret Wars 2-pack, and the Skrull set. There is so much stuff coming from Marvel Legends, and I'm trying to look through the different lineups of different years, but I really feel like this is a super strong one with so many great figures, so many potentially iconic, definitive takes on these figures that I'm really looking forward to seeing what all is coming. 80s kid from the 90s. Yo, Joe. Yo, Joe. Always got time for that. Robert's Infinite Realms. I'm so surprised that Widow wasn't higher priced. I may actually get her. Yeah, I'm trying to see if my boy's on here before I mention it. But yeah, I was really surprised about that as well. James Green, what's going on? Hello, everybody. Let's talk about some figures. Let's do it. Blake Tarpley, what's going on, brother? How are you tonight? Yo, Jeff's here. How'd the party is? I'm hoping Hasbro gives us I'm hoping Hasbro gives us a traditional Hulk because I missed out on the 20th anniversary version. Yeah, I feel like the next Hulk version that we get should be Trunks Hulk. I'm kind of confused and amazed that we still don't have just that classic version in Trunks. That's a look for him that we haven't seen in a really long time in a Marvel Legends figure. And I just kind of think that that is one that we're really missing. And Google totally confused what I was saying. It was like, maybe I should say shorts instead of trunks. It popped up something totally different than what I was expecting. All right, so let's see here. Let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about. Of course, nobody. Because I feel like his look over the years has kind of graduated to this is the only look of Hulk. But this version is the one that I kind of think of back from when I was originally starting Hulk with trunks. And I just want to see that look. I mean, this is another look for Hulk. And we've gotten so many cool, useful, worthwhile variants, but this is one, from the 80s that I kind of like to see in figure form from Marvel Legends from that crew as well. Skew Raiders here in the building. What's going on? Miguel Perez, how are you, sir? I wanted to ask about how HasLab works. I'm possibly doing the Marvel one, but I wanted to know if I back it and it fails, do I get the money back? Yes, you absolutely do. In most cases, what they do is say, like with the G.I. Joe HasLab that's up right now, you decide to back it. You have, it's like 39. Why do I need to guess? I can just tell you right up. There is still 39 days before it gets funded, before the funding window gets closed. If for whatever reason you decide, I don't want to swing this now, I don't want to buy it, you can cancel, no consequences, no problem. And at the end of that 39 days, you're going to get charged. It's not a thing where they're going to take all that money out of your account right away. They may put a temporary, do you really have it? But what they'll really do is just wait until the final day, the next day, actually. So the G.I. Joe one, just because that's the one that's up right now, it's the super easiest one, that ends on July 17th. So I think it's July 18th, they'll actually take that pre-order out of your account. So you've got until then before you have to kind of, maneuver your money around. And if I join at the last tier, do I get the first two? So yeah, how that works is because there's no early bird with this one, you're not missing out on anything. You could fund it at 11:59 with 50 seconds left, or 11:59 is still funded and get everything. If they decided to include in an early bird, typically that's the backers who funded within the first week, and that's the early bird section of it. And that's worked really well for some projects. That Ghost Rider Engine of Vengeance, it kind of backfired, blew up in Hasbro's face because it didn't get to where they needed it to get to. And then they were like, sorry, guys, this early bird that we promised, if it funded, is off the table now. And then people were like, well, dude, I don't want my Ghost Rider without the civilian mode of Robbie Reyes. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. It tends to work. It tends to motivate people to back it early. And what that means is people will see, oh, there's a lot of momentum on this. I need to go on in so I can get it too and help it get across the finish line to get fully funded. But if it's really slow when people aren't getting it and the early bird doesn't come through, and people are like, well, I don't want it because I wanted this extra bonus figure that you guys said was on the table if it funded. So it's really tricky. I kind of think in this case, it was better for Hasbro to start off with the HasLabs for 2023 with no early birds. I feel like the G.I. Joe brand would have been fine, but maybe for the Marvel Legends, they don't want to kind of risk that. So that's how that works. I hope that answered your question on it. Robert's Infinite Realms. I like an awesome Android Andy figure, but I'm an oddball. You're not. I would love that too. I read Mad Thinker and awesome Andy Android in New Warriors, so I'd be happily fine to get that set. I think we need a Mad Thinker. He's one of those fringe top tier villains that we kind of need now because we've gotten so many of the heavy hitter A++ listers done. Now it's time to get more like Scourge, Mad Thinker, Count Nefaria, Graviton, more characters like that. Dark Knight 297. What's good, Jeff, my brother? LMF becoming one of my favorite channels. Thank you so much for watching. I love interacting with you guys, so I'm happy you guys are enjoying the channel as well. Kidder 1998 says, will the Walmart exclusive Bucky Captain America come with an unmasked head and a knife accessory? I don't think they've shown everything that's coming. I know with the Black Widow figure, they didn't show us everything that was coming with that figure, and I'm kind of blown away with everything they showed with her today. I would think we'll see an unmasked Bucky. I think that would be a great inclusion. I couldn't imagine they would make a Bucky cap without the knife, though. That's just part of his outfit. Worst case scenario, if they don't, there are tons of G.I. Joes with knives that would probably fit in his holster, his sheath, and you could use those. But I feel like because they've got so many from G.I. Joe, they'll just repurpose one of those. So I don't think that should be a problem. Dark Knight 297, ready to talk some toys. Me too. Kelly Cox, what's going on? Hey, Jeff. Hey, everyone. Let's talk toys. Let's do it. That would be an incredible figure, pun intended. I love a good pun. Kid in 1998. Is Ultimate Captain America comics any good? I read reviews and someone said Steve is xenophobic in the comic. I wasn't a huge fan of the Ultimate line. I felt like they were just kind of going, hey, for everyone who doesn't have a comic book store around and can't go digging in through the long white boxes, pulling out that issue you need, here's a brand new story for you. But the problem with any comic book, when you start over to make it easier for newcomers, eventually they're going to go so far along that people are just going to be like, I don't want to read Ultimate Captain America. Ultimate's #1. I feel like he was definitely rougher intentionally than classic 616 Steve Rogers. I think he kind of rubs some readers the wrong way. I just wasn't into it. I felt like if I want to read a classic Captain America story, I'd read Captain America. I'd read classic Avengers stories with Captain America. I didn't need the rougher, edgier version of him or the different version of the X-Men. Or, I mean, I like Spider-Man. I thought that was kind of cool, even though Brian Michael Bendis was basically going, oh, cool, I'll just do my version of all these amazing Stan Lee, Steve Ditko stories. What's up, everyone in the chat? Yes. What's up to all the friends here in the chat? Ryan Daly, what's going on? What's up, Jeffrey? Pre-order the new Black Widow. Love the extra heads and can't wait to see articulation. Her articulation really looks good, at least from the pose photos in that pre-order. I was really, really surprised with that. I know they were like, yeah, this is going to be the ultimate Black Widow, but it's a really good figure. And Mr. Cheeseburger always goes, would you buy these figures for $30 if they had better accessories? And I was always saying, if they had more portraits, if they had more head sculpts, if they had more accessories, new pieces. And I feel like this Black Widow checks all those marks. She's $27.99, and I'm kind of feeling like that is a fair price. It's just $2 more, basically, or $3 more than the typical Marvel Legends figure at this point. And I feel like those extras actually account for it with the price point. So good job on the pricing, Hasbro. Also, good news. I replaced my defective, astonishing Ant-Man with a good version, and he's so fun. The red on his suit pops, and his head sculpt is great. Yeah, I feel like when it's all said and done, there are going to be some definitive characters that are going to be on most of our top 10 lists for Marvel Legends this year. Got to think Wonder Man, this Ant-Man, Photon that's coming out, Destroyer, maybe that Thor from that 2-pack as well. I mean, they're just some that look like they're going to have to be on that list. And one of those is looking like Heroes Return Iron Man for me. 80s kids from the 90s. I'm super excited for more G.I. Joe figures. I am always excited anytime we get some news or more reveals for G.I. Joe Classified series. And I guess next Tuesday, we're going to get another live stream of Yo Joe June. So that'll be cool to see what figures, what reveals we see coming up for my favorite brand. Ryan Dale, I'm also in for a Mad Thinker and Android. I feel like a lot of us would be. Those would be really cool. And he should be super simple. He's just basically reusing the Red Skull mold, give him a new head sculpt, and Android doesn't need to have a lot of articulation. He could basically reuse one of these Hulk figures, preferably one with the trunk. So that's another reason they should do that. And just a head sculpt. And that should be a really easy one for them to do. Mason Carroll, what's going on? I'm going to San Diego Comic-Con for the first time this year. Very lucky and very jealous of you. And I'm excited for the Marvel Legends panel, but I don't know when it is. So does anyone? I don't think they've announced when those panels are just yet. I think it's closer. I believe Comic-Con is July 18th, somewhere along that lines, and they'll start breaking all that stuff down closer to it. They've got comic book movies they need to get to. So Haley, you're tired of store exclusives. Do you have a Target around you? Because I feel like I hate when Walmart has exclusives just because they'll cancel a pre-order real quick. But Target's pretty good about having their exclusives in the stores, on the shelves, and very consistently available on their website. And once they get past their pre-order sellouts, you have no problem finding them. And even better with Target, eventually their stuff will come down because of clearance and they need to clear that shelf space. And Target has their red circle and they have different sales. So it's really helpful for them. But if you don't have one around, I totally get it. And hopefully there's other means to get this Black Widow and other store exclusives. Robert's Infinite Realms. Ultimates 1 and 2, basically Ultimate Avengers, are excellent. After that, I think they jumped the shark. Yeah. See, Mr. Cheeseburger, you must have missed me. I said, do you know Marvel Legends fans said the Black Widow is too expensive? Oh, come on, man. That can't be right. That figure is just like $3 more than the regular figure. I mean, and we get 2 additional HUD sculpts. Normally, it's just like, hey, maybe if you're lucky, here's 1 head sculpt. I think those 2 are really well done. We got some extras that make a lot of sense and accessory pieces. Let's get into this figure here. Let me go to this because I've been really excited about this. Let's take a look at this Black Widow. Some people are saying it's too expensive. That's wild to me. But look at this head sculpt. This one is really good. I like this fierce expression. She's got her widow stings. She's got the vapor trails. That's really cool. But I mean, that head sculpt, we haven't seen this one before. And I really like how that turned out. She looks nice and serious and intense. Really love it. Her hair sculpt looks great too. She looks ready for action. Then we've got another head sculpt, and this is more of a classic style. Her hair is up a little bit higher. She's got the full articulation. You see here, she's got the bicep, double jointed elbows, no pins. That's something I know some people really care about with their figures. Double jointed knees, of course. And does she have toe articulation? I don't know if I remember that. No toe articulation, but really good on every front. It looks like the way they did her hair, it's not going to get in the way of posing and moving her, which is nice. But I mean, look at this head sculpt. I mean, this is fantastic. You see that focus look and kind of get that Russian look to her too. Another vapor trail for her pistol. And you can see all the detail, the seams running through her outfit. I think this is really good, and I really think this is pretty good value considering some of these other figures we get. Then just to make Elena upset, we've got her hitting the superhero landing pose. That's sweet. We got a short hair sculpt, so we can go all kinds of different ways with Natasha. You can mix her up and put her with the gray bodysuit version and then Avengers 90s attire, but I really think this is good. And then we've got the blast from the Widow Stinger as well. I like this head sculpt. I think this is going to be the one that I go with as my default version. But just be able to hit that kind of pose with the Marvel Legends female figure, that's pretty exciting to me. And then we've got her. You see she's got another gun to go along with this smaller pistol. So any kind of action you want, we've got it covered with this figure. I just am really impressed. So let's take a look at everything we get for $27.99. So we get the 2 bullet effect pieces, we get the 2 stingers, we get the vapor trail from them, we get another set of stingers, and these are all attached to it. We get the energy blast firing mode, 2 fists, we get the wide open splayed hands, we get the more of a silencer, get a pistol here, and then another vapor trails you can put for either one of these handguns. Then 2 additional head sculpts in addition to this really sweet default one more modern with just the straight long hair, then the shorter hair version. I just don't understand how people are going, that's not worth the money. That's really wild to me. All right, so let's see here. 80s kids from the 90s, Amazon keeps hinting at a classic Cap and Falcon figure set. I have not seen where they're hinting at that, but that's cool. Mason Carroll made a custom puppet master with a 3D printed head and a Star Wars Black Series Jawa body. And I printed Fantastic Four puppets and stored 2 of them in his gun holster. That sounds amazing. Hopefully you can send it to me. Shoot me a picture if you would on Instagram or on my email. That sounds great. Ultimate Captain America was a sarcastic parody of the George W. Bush America of the early 2000s as viewed by a European, Mark Miller. Speaking of comic books and Mark Miller, his stuff that he's doing right now is fantastic. Ambassadors, Magic Order, Nightclub. He's just pulling out some amazing, fun stuff. Prodigy. I really love what he's doing with his books, his imprint, and he's about to do this big, massive crossover with all of his books, including tying them to some of his earlier stuff. So if you want some comic book recommendations, I highly recommend that stuff. Blake, Mr. Cheeseburger, I'm double dipping tonight. You too. You gotta tell me what else you've been hanging out on. Haley, I pre-ordered the Hot Toys Keaton Batman. Nice. That is a really sweet looking figure. I saw the flash and I'm kind of like, uh-oh, I'm going to be in trouble because there are a few more figures I kind of want from this to add to my very small Justice League shelf of Hot Toys, Superman, Ben Affleck, Batman, and Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman. So I may have to add a few more to it now. And Beltran, what's going on? What's the verdict tonight? The verdict is guilty. If you Transformers, the movie crew, know what I'm talking about. There we go. Kelly Cox, if the new Black Widow has double elbows, I'll be very interested. Consider yourself very interested because that figure looks amazing. Kidred, with the upcoming wave of the Marvels, the only figure I might get is Commander Rogers. That Steve Rogers is from the Secret Avengers comic book run. Is that one any good? Yes, that one was so much fun. It's a really cool book. I mean, it felt like a random collection of heroes. We had Cat Beast, we had Nova, Valkyrie, Eric O'Grady, Ant-Man. We also had Moon Knight showing up in there and War Machine. Just a crazy collection of characters, but they were really fun to put together. And then later on, Sharon Carter joined the team. So it was a wild collection of characters, but the writing was so good that it was just like, I'm here, I'm down for the ride. Douglas C. Rocha, what's going on? Airborne and Flash must come, Yo Joe. Yeah, I'm going to be upset if Yojo June ends and we don't see any or hear any news about Airborne and Doc. I feel like those are my two that I kind of need at this point. 80s kids from the 90s. Each Target is different. That's true because there's a bunch of clearance going on right now where one store has it for full price, another has it for $7. So it's wild out here in the Target world. Robert's Infinite Realm. Speaking of Target exclusives, I got my Ant-Man yesterday and it's awesome. I'm glad to hear so many people are excited about this Ant-Man because when they finally revealed it, I was like, yes, this is the Ant-Man I've wanted to replace that ridiculous retro version that I didn't get because it was so bad. I feel comfortable now replacing my Toy Biz version, which has held its shelf space for so long now, but I'm really excited to get this Marvel Legends version. Jimmo Grillo, what's up, my 49ers brethren? We have been conditioned to accept these prices. Well, as you know, I'm not getting a whole bunch of these figures at full price these days. I'm waiting to Target sales because I think no, I didn't even get Wonder Man for full price. I got him through GameStop and I used that $5 off. So I got him for the old school classic price point of $20. I think the only figure I paid full price for this entire year, we're June, so I can kind of be like, yes, was that Clone Wars Black Series Darth Maul because I had really major concerns that I would have a problem finding him on store shelves and not being able to wait for a deal. So he's the only one. But as I say all the time, wait for sales. Target's website will not sell out of things in most cases. So you can kind of wait them out and be like, all right, I'll wait till you guys have your spend 100, get $25 off. That has not failed me so far. You probably want to get into it early before people start doing the same thing as the sale week goes on. But early on, you shouldn't have any problem. 80s kids from the 90s. Why can't the Marvel Legends fans be like the Transformers, Joe, and Star Wars fans? I don't know if you want to use the Star Wars fans as an example because I feel like we get kind of disappointed because I was going to do my progress report on the Star Wars Black Series line, but I didn't feel like I had enough stuff to go with. I feel like they've had like 2 waves all year, the Andor wave and that Darth Maul wave. And I'm kind of like, well, I will give them an incomplete for now, but right now I have my Mandalorian shirt on, but it wasn't enough for me to go with for him. Something Wong, can't wait to get that Black Widow. It is a really good figure. I feel like that's going to be another top 10 figure for me as well. Nick Fury, Hannibal Beast 13. What up, Jeff? What's up, good sir? Hope you're having a good night as well. JAQ, bloop. Caught a live stream late. We just got started. I can't even believe it's 8:30 already. We're just been 25 minutes in. I guarantee you'll be at least another 25 minutes going. So don't want to change the subject. When are we going to get some Lyles movie files again? Jason, I just recorded one yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. We just did it. With Chief joined us, so we're up. It's on the LMF Movie Files channel. But yeah, we talked about Flash, we talked about DC Universe, all that good stuff, and what the Flash potentially means going forward for DC movies. Sung Tim Wong, you think it's drop down hips? Let's see here. I wasn't quite sure because I feel like let's take a look here at this photo and see if I can determine, or we all can determine, if she has drop down hips. I feel like maybe. I mean, some of these pics, maybe these are drop down hips the way her articulation is at the hip there. She's definitely got some good articulation, especially for a female figure of Marvel Legends. I don't know though. Let me know what you guys think. Keith Feinstein, multiple heads and hands is the way. Yeah, I mean, I feel like if y'all are gonna take away the Build-A-Figure parts, give us more. And I feel like extra heads, especially the way they did this, it's not just different expressions, it's totally different looks for Black Widow. So we have that classic, more 60s, 70s style with the hair up. We get a modern one with the hair just hanging back, kind of like an Earth's Mightiest Heroes take on Black Widow, which should make her even more worthwhile for a lot of you. And that short, I just took the scissors to my hair and just did it myself. I think that's the way for them to go, and not just here's my angry face, here's me smiling, and here's a weird neutral expression. I think that's a really good way for them to go. The Radiation 74. Why do you think the recent Build-A-Figure waves have been so weak? When you compare these figures to the Avenger line, there's really no comparison. It's almost like two different companies are making them. I feel like they need to do a better job of coming up with Build-A-Figures. I love Puff Adder. I think that whole wave is good, minus the super size I've been working out Molecule Man. And I feel like that's more what they should be doing, using the Build-A-Figure to supplement teams. So we got another member of the Serpent Society. We got Strong Guy way back in the day with one of those X-Men waves. I feel like that's where they need to go. Too often we're getting kind of random characters. I don't mind this Amadeus Cho Totally Awesome Hulk. I wish they had also incorporated another member of that Champions team, maybe Viv Vision, maybe Young Cyclops to pair with them. That way I feel like it would have been more like, oh, cool, I really want this. But I don't mind him. I think the Chode figure, they could have done a little bit better, made him more of an original sculpt, maybe buffed him up a little bit more. But I know we're just going to have to suffer with what parts they feel like using for these different characters. But I am always for Build-A-Figures, even if they're not the best ones, because it gives us an extra figure. It encourages people to go buy all the figures in the wave. So I think that's the way they need to keep going with them, even if they're more simple like Puff Adder. So let's see here. I got a little bit behind, so let me catch up to where we all are. All right, here we go. 3 different head sculpts. Yes, she's got 3, and that's amazing. I feel like that's what we need all the time for Marvel Legends figures, especially any ones that do not have a Build-A-Figure piece. The channel, what's going on? Good morning to you. Good morning wherever you are out there in the world. Dan Who says there's still a U.S. Agent Walmart exclusive that is yet to go up. First, I've heard of it, but he seems to be working for Hasbro, so probably legit. Also, Dan Yoon on the Marvel Legends brand said we are going to get some more pre-orders very soon, maybe later on this week. So stay tuned for that. I'm really excited. Dark Knight 297. That new Black Widow is close to an import figure status, just less expensive. Yeah, I mean, I feel like she is one big explosion burst accessory away from being a figure arts figure, and with maybe even a worse head sculpt, but I really like what they did with this one. Kelly Cox says that's a lot of accessories for Widow, in my opinion. Mine too. And I really think if we get that, I'm okay with them taking that price point up a little bit more, because then I see what I'm getting for my money. And I feel like when they've been using these old bucks, doing repaints of older molds, that's not giving me my money's worth, especially when you go with the, hey, here's the starburst effect we've seen in every other figure. Here's a set of extra hands. That's the only thing that's really holding that Ant-Man back, because it just has extra hands. There's no removable or swappable head with just the helmetless head, so we can see Hank Pym or Scott Lang. I think that would have been a really good way for them to go with that. That way you can go with either one of your Ant-Man choices, Hank or Scott, and then maybe people will be convinced to buy 2. So it seemed like a missed opportunity for him. The channel Black Widow looks awesome. She does. I think everybody involved with that figure should take a bow. They really knocked it out. Kidra 1998. I had to get the Target Black Widow, even the Ant-Man. They need to do a new classic Wasp. I think we still have another a live stream or big pre-order set coming from Marvel Legends later on this month. So maybe we'll see her. I feel like we've gotten really close to getting all of those reveals. Some people are actually getting those Beyond Earth's Mightiest preview figures already. So we're seeing the Hawkeye with the Sky Cycle. Some people are breaking out the Doctor Doom and Captain Marvel, and others are breaking down the Hulk, Gray Hulk, and Bruce Banner sets. So those figures are getting out to people. And I know Dwight was one of those. He had the Hawkeye. So hopefully it won't be too much longer for the rest of us. Gore the Butcher was $33 and came with nothing. And that's what made that figure such a terrible, terrible deal. And I still haven't bought it, in large part because of that, but also felt like this figure should have pinless joints. So yeah. It's under their Marvel Legends Avengers 60-year banner. Yeah, I feel like that makes sense. And I'm hoping we see some more still to come. Maybe Crystal to match with Black Knight and Cersei. But I feel like they've really taken advantage of this anniversary year for the Avengers. Hopefully with the second half of the year, we start to see a little bit more love for the X-Men, who are also celebrating their 60th anniversary. Robert's Infinite Realms. I think they're struggling with what to make as a Build-A-Figure, to be blunt. So much ground has been covered. And I feel like that doesn't have to be a problem for them. I mean, you can go to Fush. Every year, Fush does a top 10 and they do a Build-A-Figure. They still haven't knocked out the Build-A-Figure that everyone on the Fush votes for, Lockjaw. So there's one right away. If they wanted to, they could make the Android, Matt Thinker's Android, a Build-A-Figure as well. I mean, it's just, they don't have to have a shortage of those Build-A-Figure options. There's so many characters they could still do. They could do Blockbuster from the Marauders. Lots of characters that are still viable. And they could do a thing with his West Coast Avengers singlet on, Hulk with the swim trunks. That's just a few right off the bat. And that would keep them covered for a whole year. So they could do more with those Build-A-Figures for sure. I'm sure I missed the HasLab prediction tiers. So what tiers would you not be happy with? Sorry for being late again. Well, let's see. Let's see here. Well, since you mentioned it, let's go take a look here where we are right now with this HasLab G.I. Joe tier. So right now we're at 11,917 backers. Of course, we're getting it funded. And we know that next up is coming Ripcord from his Night Force look. And he unlocks at 13,000 backers. I'm not quite sure where I want to see this go at this point. I just want it to be worthwhile tiers because the Dragonfly is so great. It comes with so many cool stuff. But I'd love to get some named characters on there, not just the Night Force versions or a Tiger Force version of characters. I'd be fine if they just fixed one and did like a retro version. So if like Flint was a retro version and they fixed him up through this, I would be fine. I just don't want generic, hey, here's a random guy to be in there with Wild Bill, because that wouldn't make me happy because I'm still going, where's my Doc? Where's my Airborne? No, you were just asking a question, Jay. There's no negativity read at all on that. Kindred, if it's true, the Amazon Classic Cap and Falcon 2-pack is true, then I have one condition, but they need to be pinless. Yeah, I'm down for them on that one. I really need pinless joints now that we're moving forward. That's their new model. That's what they're touting as they raise the prices. So we need that for all those figures. I have nothing but contempt for this court. You got me. Exactly. On Millard, he wasn't involved with Ultimates 3 and so forth. That's the art of what I meant. Yeah, part of what I meant. Lone Dragon, what's going on? Secret bonus tier for the Dragonfly will be a Marlon Wayans alternate head for Ripcord. Oh, if only I can forget my memories of those at least that first G.I. Joe movie. The one with Rock was okay. I just felt like they needed to go a little bit harder into just having a fun G.I. Joe movie. Keith Einstein, the Commander Rogers fig is a must for the Corman S transparent shield. That transparent shield is so cool. I love that they included it. And since it seems like it's not attached to his arm, you can put it with the Captain America, the classic 20th anniversary version for that time when the shield was broke, and he can have that. So I really love the option of that accessory. Bo Weep Grana Weep Ninny Bond. Yes. Kidra 1998. The Elena figure from the Puff Adder Build-A-Figure wave I found out is from the Secret Avengers comics. Yes, I think you're right on that. I haven't read Secret Avengers in a while. I probably should reread it. It'd be fun to go back to that one. Mr. Cheeseburger. I think every Marvel Legend should be pinless. Come with multiple heads, hands, and new blast effects for $27.99 moving forward. Just like the Black Widow offering, all BAFs should be sold as deluxes. I still want waves where they have Build-A-Figures. I like having Build-A-Figure deluxes as another way to get bigger, larger figures out there. I kind of want the best of both worlds. And seriously, I feel like there's some figures that won't have so many alternate heads and accessories that make sense. For those, I think would work better in Build-A-Figure ways where we can keep the cost down and keep the accessory expectations low. If they do more with the Build-A-Figure, I think that makes sense. But for somebody like Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, where you can do separate portraits, you can give him a beard, you can give him a clean shaven look, a different head sculpt, an angry head sculpt. That makes sense. Squirrel and Mjolnir, I think he's a figure that would make sense for $27.99. Iron Man, Cap, maybe even a Reed Richards if they could do some cool attachment pieces for him where he's stretching out. So there's a lot of options for that higher price point, and I would be okay if they kept that quality up. I don't want to see a Bucky Cap mold with two guns and outstretched hands and they call it $27.99 worth of a figure. That wouldn't work. Jimmy O Gorillo, long game on prices is new. Yeah, you got to right now. You cannot absolutely pay full price for these figures. JQ 49ers, boo, boo. Oh, come on, sir. How about them Cowboys? Yes. How about them Cowboys losing to the Niners again in the playoffs? Kidra 1998. They need to do a better Viper figure with the longer hair and a dark green outfit from the comic. Yeah, I had a Viper figure. I like her, but I feel like she was somebody that needed another head sculpt, one with that shorter swoop hairstyle. That way you could have her with both of her different looks, more Serpent Society version, and then one more of a Hydra style. I feel like that was a missed opportunity on that one. And she had an older buck too. And I was like, come on, guys, y'all can do better at this point. Ryan Daly, Dragonfly is at 11,915 right now. Expect Night Force Ripcord to be unlocked tomorrow night. I feel like what we should be doing is taking note of Fridays and seeing what that surge is. As people get paid, then they're going, yes, I can get it now. Even though they're not really going to take your money out to the last day. But I'm really curious to see how Fridays improve that surge in the purchases or backing of the HasLab. James Green says we need an updated Daredevil. Yes, I still have that really, really old one now. I didn't get the one from that 3-pack with Bullseye with the blue chest. It was weird. And Elektra with the wild, crazy hair. Maybe she's the model that they should be using for a new updated Medusa. But yeah, I need a better Daredevil, one that fits in better. It's a little bit more like he can stand toe-to-toe with Captain America. And an updated Punisher. I don't need a new Punisher as much, but they may not release a new Punisher because Marvel decided Punisher is bad. We can't make a figure. We can't put his character in comic books anymore. And a Blade. We absolutely need a better Blade. I dislike strongly that one that we had from the first, when they re-released him. And I was like, what is this figure? And I wanted to hang on to my Marvel Legends Wave 3, was it? Wesley Snipes version, because it felt better than that new one, but the leather jacket was deteriorating on me. Christian Severa, still looking for that mall. Still probably will do Makari. Also, did you pick up any Guardians Galaxy Volume 3 wave? I have not, because I mean, I don't know what they're doing with that wave. I feel like they really needed to put those figures and give us characters that made sense, like a Gamora and a High Evolutionary. But for those of you who've waited, I'm taking my advice to make sure never to pay full price for these figures because they're going to drop anyway. Some Targets, one of my buddies here in the DMV sent a picture this morning where a clearance sticker of Adam Warlock, who was $17.49 at some Targets, is now $7.49. And the deluxe version is no longer $52.99. He is $24.99. So this is why I'm always saying you can wait out Target exclusives or figures being sold at Target because they're going to drop down in price. Target is quick to move figures. And I feel like they're kind of moving them a little early on that sale price or get them out of here because it's not like they're overflowing with waves of Marvel Legends, but that works out best for us. And if you can find these figures to this price point, go for it quickly. Star Wars HasLab incoming. Yeah, I'm kind of figuring that Ghost is that one we're going to see at Comic-Con. That's basically been confirmed by the team. I'm really curious to see what that ends up being. 80s kids from the 90s. Yeah, the newest archive releases are a joke. Bo-Katan and Stormtrooper are available to purchase. Luke has been released again. I'm okay getting more Stormtroopers because I have a sickness. I have a disease. I need to buy as many Stormtroopers as I can find on the shelf, just the regular plain. I don't need the separate variations unless there were snow troopers, but I'm okay with more Stormtroopers coming through. I feel like of everything they do, keeping army builders like the clones and the Stormtroopers out in regular rotation, even if it's in the archive series, is a really smart strategy, and they should do way more of that. Mr. Cheeseburger. Hasbro needs to sell the Star Wars and Marvel Legends to McFarlane and develop in-house IPs. I can't say it enough. Oh my goodness. Would you imagine the amount of screams of terror from people as they started breaking down their Marvel Legends figures from McFarlane and complaining about that articulation? Kelly Cox. I'm totally a fan of Doc Joint and Classified line. I remember a comic of him helping shoot down a Rattler, a true joke. Was that G.I. Joe issue 36? Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, there were it was Destro and Firefly because they got left behind from Cobra Commander when they fled when they were leaving. No, the Rattler. That was issue 36, but that was when they sunk the flag. But yeah, that was really cool. Afton Child, what's going on? How are you tonight? Mr. Cheeseburger, thank you so much, my good friend. I appreciate you, and I always appreciate how you bring these thoughtful comments here. And I just love your approach. And it's not like, it's more like, hey, I'm putting out some conversation topics in a different point of view. And I appreciate you. Do I think a Marvel Legends HasLab with fun? I feel like as long as it's reasonably priced, and I feel like we saw a really good pivot in terms of price with the G.I. Joe HasLab. They weren't like, let's make it more expensive than last year. Let's not make it the same price as last year. And I think if the Marvel Legends team does a similar approach where it's a figure, I keep saying Giant Man. I feel like they've been teasing, hinting Giant Man. He doesn't need to be 275. He doesn't need to be anywhere close to 300. I think if he's 200 and they get some really cool, worthwhile, in-demand tier figures, that'll fund with no problem. I think if they go, let's make them 275, then it's going to be an issue. I think for Marvel Legends, it's always about people's perception of that value where, I mean, we see it with the Black Widow, right? That people are going, that's too expensive. I think they need to be really careful because they don't want to have a consecutive failed HasLab. But I think the way they can work around it is take that page from the Transformers team. Y'all don't need to pay over 200 for this. You can get a transforming figure for 175. If they put Giant Man up for 175, I feel like he'd fund that same day, especially if it's not right after the Star Wars HasLab, so people have a little time to get their money back together. I feel like that should work. Kidder 1998 says, with the DC animated movies, they need to do an animated version of Batman Red Rain. Also, have you seen the trailer for the new DC animated movie? I have. I don't know what I feel about it because I really liked the shared universe of the DC New 52 films, even though it was like, here's a Justice League movie, here's a Batman movie, here's a Justice League, here's Batman. I want them to do what I want to see for the movies, a whole connected universe where we see stuff, we see the characters going from film to film and just interacting with each other. Marvel does that, made it look easy. I don't know why there's such a struggle for DC. Now, I do have some optimism for this new Justice League War World movie. Jeremy Adams is one of the writers, and Jeremy Adams is one of my favorite comic book writers right now. I say this all the time. I don't care. His run on The Flash was superb. Please get it if you like comic books in general, and especially if you like Wally West. Awesome stuff. He's working on Green Lantern now and just read the second issue. Thumbs up again. He's awesome. He gets comic book characters. Hopefully it'll translate over to this movie. He's one of the writers. If he was the writer, I would unequivocally say I'm excited for it. But you know how that collaborative process is with these movies. So I'm cautiously optimistic, even though I want to see more of a Justice League proper with the Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, Aquaman, a Flash before we start digging into extra characters like Warlord and Jonah Hex. And, but we'll see how it turns out. Austin, what up, Lyle? Where's the Marvel Legends Luke Cage 2.0 Blue Marvel figure? Hopefully this month. Hopefully this month is where we find out where the heck that Power Man Luke Cage is coming, and when we can see the prototype of Iron Fist to put them in a 2-pack and they can do their whole thing. Son, McFarlane is the worst. I don't know if they're the worst, but I feel like I'd be really disappointed if they took over Marvel Legends because I'm used to a certain level of articulation. Like DC has just kind of been a disappointment. Like, oh man, I need better articulated figures, and at least he's starting to cover more of the universe. I'm really excited about that Nightfall Batman Steel, so I'm a little bit more optimistic and don't think it's the worst, but I know some people are not happy with them. Mason, I sent those pics to my custom Puppet Master. Cool. Thank you. Let me see if I can track that down while we're talking. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, that didn't work. All right, let's see. McFarlane is improving, says 80s kids from the 90s, but I don't want them getting Marvel or Star Wars. Yeah, I feel like he's got another whole license. I mean, he just picked up the Blizzard license, so I don't want him getting too distracted from what he's doing with DC, and I definitely don't want him getting another major license because I think that'd be a real problem for him. Kidded. I think the worst figure in the Puff Adder Build-A-Figure wave is the Orb figure. They could have done someone else better. I don't mind the Orb because he's a Ghost Rider villain. I just feel like we need some more Ghost Rider figures for him to fight, like a classic Johnny Cage version that's a little bit more modern at this point. But I think he should have been on one of those more modern Bucks as opposed to using the Bucky Cat mold, because that's like, what are you doing? Robert's Infinite Realms. I got lucky and got Gore for 25 and still felt gypped. Yeah, I really felt like they needed to provide a little bit more with that figure, some accessories. And it's like, what accessories? But that's not my problem. You can't charge $33 for a figure and hope that people are going to love that Thor movie so much that they're going to pay for the comic book version. Anyway, Ryan, I want a Fantastic Four wave of Mole Man, yes. And instead of Build-A-Figure pieces, every figure in the wave comes with a 3-inch Moloid figure. That would be fun. I need a new Molecule Man too. I don't feel like we're at the point now where Fantastic Four wave would be really cool, assuming they just did like one Fantastic Four member so we don't have them eating up the majority of the wave. But we can have a Diablo, Puppet Master, Alicia Masters. Maybe here's where we get a She-Hulk in her Fantastic Four attire. Agatha, classic comic book version as an old lady, not this. Oh, we got to make her super hot now because, it's Marvel. And Wyatt Wingfoot, he'd be cool in there as well. Young Franklin, I mean, maybe not a figure. Maybe we can put him in a 2-pack with Kristoff, where he's rocking the Doctor Doom attire with his specialized look. I'd be fine with that. That'd be cool. Zombie 42080. Hey. James Green, we also need a 90 Smart Hulk. Yes, because that was still in my collection. The Toy Biz, really good version, but I'd be fine to get a new one from Hasbro. Classic Beta Ray Bill Baff. Yep, he's another option too. And you can put his cape as a whole part of the Build-A-Figure. So there's several options for Build-A-Figures that they still have. It's not like, oh, if only we had some more characters we could put and make a Build-A-Figure with. Afton Child has a question. Could you see, Could you see as well do it in Marvel Legends Deadpool 3 movie wave? I feel like they would. Maybe they'll just do like a whole encompassing Deadpool wave where they get 1, 2, and then 3. I mean, I feel like they're just gonna do the main characters, Colossus, and Team Negasonic, Deadpool, whichever version. Maybe a Cable. I mean, we've got some of those characters, so maybe not all of them, but I think there's no problem with it. I mean, we have gotten Deadpool figures from the movies before, so I don't think there's any reason why we wouldn't see them. I have Cap, Thor, and Iron Man. I'm buying Hawkeye, Widow, Panther, and Ant-Man, but I want Hasbro to release a Wasp, Fury, and Hulk. If you have any Furies, you can use that later, more recent Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. 2-pack and put one of those heads and use it for Nick Fury. That's what I did, so I'm really happy. I don't need him as much as I did before, but yeah, there's an option. Yeah, Blake, give me John Byrne Hulk with swimsuit trunks. Right. So I can have him fighting, going toe to toe, like that big battle where he's fighting the West Coast Avengers and Silver Centurion, Iron Man, Hercules, Namor, Wonder Man, Doc Samson coming in there and get beat up too. I mean, I need that in my life, in my figure life. Has Hasbro done Marvel Legends of the Thing, the trench coat and hat? I don't believe so, but the Mezco version has him in that whole look. And I know it's not cheap, but I really, really still am like, man, that set looks amazing. And I kind of want it because besides their execution of Johnny, it's a really fantastic, pun intended, set. And it just really looks cool and really great. And I feel like if they delivered that one the way it could possibly look, it would be really great. Let me pull it up. Here we go. Here's the image you wanted to see, not from the brand you wanted to see, but that looks cool. And it's really giving us the whole Ben Grimm chilling undercover look. That's what I was saying about that Johnny Storm, Human Torch. They didn't really do him right, but Reed looks amazing and Thing looks fantastic. Look at him going off against Doctor Doom here. I mean, this set is really cool. And we have a real full stretcho. Reed Richards, he looks great. And then that Thing looks like Mike Rango's cover. That's awesome. I mean, look at all the stuff that comes with this version of the Thing. We get four different head sculpts, get a light post, we get a steel beam that he's breaking, the fedora, the sunglasses, the trench coat, classic Ben Grimm. So while Marvel Legends may not tackle it, I feel like that's a really great option if you can do it. Lefty Two Lions, BK, what's going on? Salutations and greetings to all. It is nice to see you here, my brother. Mason Carroll, they need to make a Red Ghost and his apes. All they have to do is reuse the Red Skull Buck, but I guess the apes would be a lot for them, but G.I. Joe has some amazing animal figures. Yeah, I wish they started doing some ape-like characters so it'd be easy for them to just borrow them for Red Ghost and his crew. But yeah, I mean, that Red Skull Buck gives them so much license for so many characters where it's just like, oh, cool, just do a new head sculpt. We've got a new figure. Zombie, I was late to class 5, missed out on the his tank. Back to Dragonfly, though. I'm hoping that people are like, once they get it, it's like, I don't have the room, the space. I'm not going to try to charge $1 million for it. I think people right now are selling their Galactus HasLab for $400 to $500. So that's not ridiculous from what it was originally, but maybe that'll be a route to just get the his tank. Mr. Cheeseburger, the HasLab Tears and Night Force, Crazy Legs, and version 1 Hawk with the blonde hair. And I'd be really happy with that. Like, if I get Hawk in this set, I'd be happy. Not so much with Night Force, Crazy Legs. I really like his colors, but you give me version 1 Hawk with the blonde hair and the flat top, we're good. I'm really happy with everything that comes with that HasLab. Afton Child, could you see Hasbro doing a Marvel Legends? Oops, yes. Okay, I answered that one already. 80s hits from the 90s. Give me a classic Falcon, Warbird, and Yellow Jacket. Yes, we desperately need all 3 of those figures, especially a new Yellow Jacket. My original Hasbro version, I don't know how he's standing. He is doing a super lean right now, but somehow he's still staying up, but he needs to be replaced. Uncarded Reviews, definitely like that Target exclusive Black Widow. She is a sweet figure. Blake, what would be another Secret Wars? I saw S in Wars and automatically said Star Wars. What would be another Star Wars? Wow, one more time. Let's try it for the 3rd time. What would be another Secret Wars 2-pack that we need? Titana and Volcana? Yes, we should have those for sure. I have a few more. Wrecker, Thunderball, Pile Driver, and Wrecker. I mean, we need the whole Wrecking Crew over. So I take Absorbing Man and Titania, Volcana and Molecule Man looking more like he did in Secret Wars. I feel like they've gotten most of the heroes, but they could also give us a new Magneto and pair him up with Wasp. I think then we've got everything covered. I wouldn't be upset or say no to a Colossus powered down so he can hang out with Zaz and get healed up, but maybe put him with Professor X where he's like, I can walk. I'm a superhero now. So there's still plenty of options for 2-packs of Secret Wars. So, and I would want all of them. Mason Carroll says, I want that hologram shield because of that animated the next Avengers Heroes of Tomorrow movie where Ultron killed the Avengers. Yeah, so it's another reason to get that thing. I would also love action figures for them. Now that one might be a little bit sketchy and a little bit harder, but hopefully you'll get what you want. I don't think Hasbro would do classic Mandarin figure because by today's standards, he would be considered racist. But it was a different time in the 70s. But they have reinvented the character. I would like to see some version of Mandarin. Maybe they could do that Iron Man cartoon version of him. I don't know. He's a tricky one, just like Man Ape, where it's like, yes, I get it. I kind of want characters from what the looks of when I was really enjoying the comic books, but I understand why I probably won't do him or Man Ape. We're now at 11,917. That is impressive. I'm really excited to see this progress of this HasLab and can't wait to see. Now, that was a few minutes ago. So now we're at 21. So that's pretty cool. It is rolling along just fine. Keith Einstein. Depending on the size of the next HasLab, I'm going to need to pre-order a bigger house. Hopefully by then they'll accept payment plans. We need a Blade movie. Yeah, we're getting one with Mahershala Ali at some point. The Writers Guild strike has halted production on that and all these other upcoming Marvel films, but it is on the docket and we are getting it eventually. 80s Kids from the 90s wants to know, if I had to pick one, which classified figure should I buy? Slaughter, Spirit, or Outback? I mean, Slaughter, Spirit for sure. I don't have Outback yet, so I don't think you can go wrong with either one. Blake says, Secret Wars 2-pack, another one. Wasp and Rogue in those costumes. Depower Colossus and Depower Think. Right. Yeah, we get Ben where he's like, I'm not leaving. I can turn my powers on and off. So yeah, so many Secret Wars 2-packs to get. Lefty Two Lions BK. I will be on the hunt for the Guardians of the Galaxy sales at Target. Thanks for the intel. Absolutely. Thank my friends here in the area for sharing that info with me. Kendrick, have you seen in hand pictures of DC Multiverse Dark Knight Trilogy, Bane and Bank Robber Joker? Bane's jacket is soft goods, but the Joker just doesn't look right. It has swappable heads, though. I have Bane looks really cool, and I don't need that version of Joker, but yeah, Bane does look really cool, and I'm glad they knocked him out. I also made a custom modern comic Scott Lang head for my MCU Giant Man for my Avengers display. That's cool. Send that along to me, too. Robert's Infinite Realms. Honestly, I think they're releasing too many Marvel Legends at once and they're going to clearance almost instantly. Slow down. Sorry, I got my brand Nubian fix here. Sorry. Kelly Cox. Thanks. Does anyone sell the Joe and Transformers Marvel comics? Yeah, you can still get those Marvel comics if you get them at the right time on Amazon. They have editions 1 through 12, I think. Or 1 through 8, I think, of the Marvel run. I don't know about the Transformers, though. That's the one where they sunk the flag. That was a really good one. That's why I want Tripwire. He's coming. I want Deep Six, and I can take Deep Six and his not piloting the shark look. I need a whale with Cutter, though. But yeah, that'd be fun. Punisher is rocking a new costume now. Yeah, James, I'm really not feeling what they did with my boy Punisher. It's terrible. Keith, I don't really think the EOV failed because of the price, more the selection of the car itself. If it had been a set of motorcycles and riders at that price point, it would have funded. Yeah, I mean, there's certainly reasons why it did not work. And I think some of it is the cost. I think some of the characters, the tier selections, and just the execution of those tier figures. But I feel like they would have done a lot better if they just strictly focused on Ghost Riders, especially since it's not like they've done a ton of them. Like if they did a Dan catch with light up flame tires or wheels, I think that would have sold through pretty quickly. It was a Jane, not the flag. They introduced the flag at the very end. You were correct. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know how I forgot that part. Every Marvel fan wanted a Galactus. Not all wanted a Ghost Rider with a car. Many didn't know him. Yeah, they need to do a better job of making these new characters, getting them over, maybe not killing them off so soon. Stares at Marvel Spider-Man intently. Kwame, what's going on? I can't do McFarlane. They're kind of fun. I mean, they're definitely not Marvel Legends. Sometimes the scale's a little wonky, but they're kind of fun for what they are. Kwame, I love Legends for their obscure characters. When will we ever see these in figure form again? Yeah, I mean, that's why we're getting so many cool figures. And that's why I'm like, nah, I want Hasbro to hold on to this license. I look at my DC Classics collection, and while there's some wacky, weird, and just outright mind frustrating choices with the execution, I look at these figures, I'm like, I can't believe I have a Commandy in 6-inch form on my shelf. I can't believe I have a Forger. So many new God characters. That's really cool. I mean, that's what I want to see. And that's why I'm so happy Marvel Legends is still rolling out all these obscure figures. We're getting pretty hefty Serpent Society. When would that ever happen? Tom McFarlane needs to do a Kenner Classic wave just like the Superpowers line, but with Batman, the animated series figures, and he can also do characters from the show. They never got a figure yet. Yep. Dark Knight 297. I love DC Comics, but I'm not a fan of the Tomorrowverse animation style. Yeah, it's they go heavy with the lines on those, and I feel like they're not quite the level of the New 52 really good movies because there were some that weren't great, but yeah, the animation does take some getting used to. Kwame, thank you so much, good sir. Appreciate it. I was hoping for a G.I. Joe HasLab Havoc vehicle, but realizing Cross Country was a Confederate soldier, I realized that Hasbro needs to change that. Let's call him a reenactor. I mean, he clearly couldn't have been a Confederate soldier, but he was like reared down in the South back when that wasn't frowned upon or looked really strongly with the side eye. So I'm sure they'll figure out some different way to modernize him, but I'd still need my Havoc and Cross Country because I thought he was a fun character. I saw today the show's crossover with Call of Duty. I don't know what the crossover is going to be about or characters coming to the game, but if they are, I hope so for Billy Butcher. So the boys are crossing over into Call of Duty. Okay. That would be kind of fun. I really don't like I didn't think I liked those FPS shooter games, but I kind of like Call of Duty. Those are fun. And Beltran. I would have thought they would have done an Infinity Gauntlet Adam Warlock Target exclusive or something. Well, there's still time. There's still more exclusives coming to Target, according to Dan over at the Marvel Legends team. Jamelyn Parks, what's going on? Fantastic Four wave could include She-Hulk, Crystal, Pineapple Thing, yes, She-Thing, Young Franklin, and Valeria, I think that's how I say her name, to name a few. That'd be really fun. I feel like there's so many Fantastic Four waves we can still get where it's not just the FF, but yeah, those are cool. Jason Lyles, what's going on, bro shot? I'm doing well. How are you? Anything new with the Hasbro Mattel crossover? Still waiting for a G.I. Joe Barbie classified series. Yeah, Lone Dragon. That I mean, I feel like we're just about to that point anyway. But if they start doing Flint and Lady J in Barbie attire, I'm not going to say I'm not going to get it. Jace wants to know, do you think we'll get any figures from Enter the Spider-Verse? Yeah, I'm curious how far they're going to go. We've already got one wave, and they've got Cyborg Spider-Woman as like a deluxe figure that probably would have been a Build-A-Figure in years past, but I'm curious to see how many more if we get another wave of those figures. Glenn Jackson says we need a new Dragon Man. Yes, that's another Build-A-Figure they could do. Or if they can't do a Build-A-Figure that complex anymore, make Dragon Man a deluxe figure, Pulse exclusive, whatever you need to do. When is season 4 of The Boys coming out? I need to check because I feel like it's about that time now. I hope we get King Prime a cape, time chair, and his weapons. That would be fun, 80s kids from the 90s. Yeah, because there's still a few more looks for Kang. I guess it'll really depend on what happens with Jonathan Majors and what goes on with Kang in the MCU. Because I feel if he's the big bad that they teased and were like, this is what's coming from Kang Dynasty, then I think we should get a few more. Should probably get Scarlet Centurion, Rama Tut. So there are more Kang options to come. Maybe we'll get a Kang with a super-sized helmet, kind of like how Jack Kirby did him back in the day. Rodney Sessoms, how you doing? Good evening, Jeffrey. Yes, I was thinking the same thing. A new updated Wrecking Crew would be great. Yes, we do need them. Ace Kids from the 90s says, yo, Joe, hit the like button because Sardin said so. Hattie's disease. Haley, I just got the full X-Men VHS fix. Do you know there's going to be, if they're going to make more? No, well, maybe later, but right now they're focusing on Spider-Man. I don't remember who the last one was. Was it Cyclops? But after that last one, they said when they started showing off the Spider-Man figures, this is their new focus for this year. I would have thought that would have meant we're seeing more X-Men figures beyond that 3-pack of Uncanny 275, but or the Chode Wave, but hopefully we'll see some more later. Daniel, hey Lyles in chat, how are you? You guys are making it sound like I'm a law firm. You can call me Jeff or Jeff. It's cool. Lyles makes it feel like it's too official for this chat. Jamelin, I noticed the Diamond Select Green Goblin diorama figure statue. Now, why can't Legends do her again? Let's see, because I need to see this right now. Diamond Select Goblin Queen. Especially since the fact that she was hanging in the darn HasLab window, which made no sense. Oh, this looks like her from the X. Jeez, what was that crossover called? Factor X. But yeah, where Havoc traveled to that time frame, and yeah, I don't get it, man. I just do not understand it. Mutant X, that's what it was. Yeah, that was a cool look, and that was a cool title. I should probably track that trade down. Alex got lost in the multiverse, and he's hanging out with all these villains and doing their thing with them. And Kelly, Haley, from what I heard, the VHS line is not canceled, just put on hold. Yep, you're correct. Kwame, no such thing as too many figures. With so many open teams and errors in the Marvel universe, the only way a toy company to cover them all with a profit is how Marvel does it. I feel like they could still knock out a few more teams, but yeah, they're doing a pretty good job now. I feel like this Avengers focus has really helped them to scratch off a lot of Avengers characters on my wish list. So hopefully we'll see that with some other teams too. 80s kids from the 90s said it would be hilarious if Hasbro released a Giant Man with all classic Avengers. I mean, I feel like we got Mark 1 Iron Man, who's not the one that was in Avengers 1. We still need that gold version, the Mark 2 set, but hopefully we'll see them. Mr. Cheeseburger, we need more Spider-Man obscure characters. Now, how obscure are you talking about? Because he's still got a lot of characters. I still need a Flash Thompson, a civilian Norman Osborn, Harry Osborn, Liz Allen, Robbie Robertson. So many characters. So yeah, the Enforcers. We need a VHS Spider-Man. We got a VHS Spider-Man. He is covered. Henry G. Hey Jeff, do you intend to see Rise of the Beast? Yeah. So basically what happened, they had a press screening and I could choose one. So I did Flash because it was closer. Like the Rise of the Beast screening was way far away. And I was really hoping that my local drive-in was going to have like Transformers and Spider-Verse, which would be my ideal double feature where I could just see them both. But they have Spider-Verse and Fast X, and I'm not necessarily going to not see Fast X again because I love those movies. So I may do that, but I do want to see Rise of the Beast. It actually looks like a pretty decent Transformers movie. So, and it's not all shot in darkness, and I can see the different colors of the Transformers. So I do want to see it, and I will at some point. Is there female Joes that are part of Arctic missions? No. Like, I don't really count all those various international versions as true Joes. I know hardcore Joe fans do, but I'm like, I didn't see them in the stores where I was, so don't really count them. We basically had 4 Joes. We had Scarlet, CoverGirl, Lady J, and Jinx, and that was it. I felt like they were doing really well early on, but then they just kind of like, we'll just do repaints and re-releases. Here's a new version of Scarlet. They probably should have done more. Helix is coming, and she doesn't have like a weather specialty. She's just kind of all-around kicktail character. And I don't think they've done one in the comic books either. So yeah, they don't have a specialist on that front. So Blake wants to know who has a better action figure collection. I'm going to spoil it and say it's no contest. I have a bigger action figure collection. But he's definitely been very helpful to me, Blake, when in the day, especially in the days of Toys R Us, where it was like, can you get that for me on the higher shelf? He's younger than me, but he's somehow got taller and got some gamma radiation. So he's able to just go and look through those open bins at Toys R Us where people would hide figures. And yeah, it was great. Haley, I heard a rumor that the Marvel HasLab is going to be Giant Man. I can only hope so because I'm really looking forward to it. Into MS New. Gosh, I feel like I butchered that. Into okay. Into, let me go with that so I don't butcher it anymore. Glad we're finally getting a Karnak, but that Monica, Miss Marvel, and Goose look beat. Let's see here, because I did want to talk about them too. That wave looks really cool. And even though I'm not going to get all of them, I think this is a good idea, a good mix of movie and comic book. Karnak looks really good. Really happy about him. Really love this Hero's Return Iron Man. I wish Commander Cap had a better head sculpt just so he didn't look like he's so mad at the world. And Photon looks great. Just looks like Tiana Paris. Miss Marvel, same deal. Great head sculpt. I wish her design had the mask on. Good head sculpt on the Brie Larson Captain Marvel. Totally awesome. Amadeus Cho. Really good selection of characters. The only one I'm not that excited about is Marvel Boy, who's just kind of there for me. But again, not a wave I'm going to rush and break my neck to get it full price. I feel for sure the ones you can count on hitting clearance: Marvel Boy, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and Photon, just because that's how it seems to play out every time we get these mixed waves of comic and MCU figures. Guy trapped in the corrupt US of A. Hey, what's up? Glad I made it. I'm glad you made it too. Mason Carroll says, I would like a Star Fox, Warbird, Yellow Jacket, Classic Wasp, Green Quicksilver, Protector Marvel Boy, Animated Chameleon, Classic Shadowhawk. Yeah, I was real disappointed with the Shadowhawk because it's like she needs longer flowing sleeves. She needs that 80s hairstyle, not this modern version. So yeah, maybe they could pair a make good Shadow Cat with Phoenix to Rachel Summers. Got trapped in the corrupt USA. So they had no Ghostbusters merch from Ghostbusters Day, but Marvel and DC appeared. It was funny because I did not know today was Ghostbusters Day. And so I got this, but they do have this handy thing to celebrate, commemorate Ghostbusters Day. You too can save 20% off with code GHB Selfie 20. So you can get your sort of janky looking likeness from the Selfie series from Hasbro Pulse. Ski Raider, they'll probably make more X-Men VHS when X-Men 97 drops. And I think that's supposed to drop next year now. So I'm looking forward to the show, and I can't wait to see what they do with it. Got trapped in the corrupt USA. They're still making Marvel figures no one asked for, I see. I think Marvel Boy has some fans, but I feel like everyone else on that wave was definitely on some list, and I'm glad to see them. Mutant X is a cool series. Loved it. Yeah, Roberts. It was really fun. I think that was before they were going, let's go to another world, another reality all the time. Some of the novelties gone out, but that was a fun series, especially since Alex wasn't getting as much love at that point in the comic books anyway. Mandarin, Amora the Enchantress. Do you not have the one that they get released? I thought that figure was pretty good. I heard something about season 2 of Moon Knight. We'll have the Kang variant that is Egyptian. Oh, I assume you're talking about Ramatut Aftonchild. I think that's what it is. Guy Trapped in the Corrupt USA says they need to release that Venom or do a retro card one. They've released a bunch of Venoms. I'm not even sure which one I would consider the best one at this point, but they've released some good Venom figures that if you need one, I think they have tons for you. The Legends team should salvage the unfunded Black Series Rancor, give it a repaint, and release it as the Mangog. Tears could be the Warriors 3 and Bother the Brave. Boy, that sounds like a fun idea, Ryan. I mean, I still don't understand why we don't have the Warriors 3 and Balder. I feel like we definitely need a Thor wave of comic book goodness. That way we can get Scourge in there, a beefier, bolder Odin, maybe a few Frost Elves or whatever. I mean, sheesh, let's get to it. Lone Dragon. I still need an Aunt May figure. Facts. The one they just put out is completely unacceptable. Yeah, I was not thrilled with that one. Need Big Eye Spider-Man like the Toy Biz Marvel vs. Capcom 2-packs. Yeah, that one's a little weird that we haven't seen that one because it seems like a really easy one for them to knock out. Glenn Jackson. Marvel Select should tackle Absorbing Man. Now that's the problem. They've already done a giant, way too out of scale Absorbing Man. I need one that fits in better with that Thor and Hercules. Like, he just needs to be that big. He doesn't need to tower over those guys either. Just keep him at that size. They've got really good articulation. Let him go to work fighting those guys his same size. I mean, I definitely don't need a bigger one of him. Roberts, did I watch Avatar 2 yet? No, I did Flash. Then Jason, I did the podcast. I haven't watched yet. Maybe this weekend. Worth a watch, but not great. Now, I definitely don't want to see it. No, I'll watch it. Maybe Hasbro might do an Ultimate Nuke from that comic. True. An upcoming Marvel Legends wave, so I can have him go with my Ultimate Captain America. I'd be fine with that. I feel like they're going to start to do Ultimate figures. They need to do more than just Captain America. So we need to get that Iron Man and Thor at least, so we can have at least the trio hanging out. Mr. Cheeseburger, Speed Demon. You didn't like the regular one they did, or the first one that they released? I thought that was a cool figure. Or maybe you want a different version. Crime Master, cool. Red Vulture, Black Tarantula, Looter, Mind Worm, Digger, and Grizzly. Yeah, I know for sure Grizzly. I don't know about so many more of these other ones, but yeah, these would be fun. And I think the beauty of Spider-Man is they can actually release these figures without too much trouble, and people will be like, do I need it? Yeah, I need it. So I think that's where they would probably go with the pack or 5-pack, or do a build a figure where it's like, I don't want to get this figure, but I need to. Into Me Snob, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't want to keep butchering it. 80s Kids from the 90s says Iron Man and Commander Rogers look super cool. They do, except for the head sculpt on Commander Rogers. Somebody earlier said in the chat he looks like he wants to talk to the manager, and I thought that was really funny and true. Mason says, I like a classic Shadowcat, Warbird, Yellow Jacket, Animated Chameleon, Perez, Justice, and Firestar. Yes, please. Stingray, Green Quicksilver, Nightmare, another one, and Assortment and Classic Wasp. Yes. Guy Trapped in the Corrupt USA. Who asked for some of these characters? Like the black and white green dude. Marvel Boy. I feel like they have very slowly done Young Avengers. You could put him with them. So you got that Hawkeye Kate Bishop figure. That's another member of the team. And then it starts to go, well, when are we getting more of them? But I think that's where he got some pull for that. Maybe he shows up in Captain Marvel or the Marvels, and they've been keeping it secret, so they just decided to throw him out there. Maybe that's where he's introduced or shows up in the MCU, and that's the connection for this character in this wave. Well, I guess we'll still have to see. Kidger says I might get the Photon for the Marvel Legends wave. Maybe. Ski Raider says Karnak is dope because his helmet doubles as a big green egg grill. Peace to King Kirby. I mean, he was coming up with ideas long before the rest of us. Into Me Snob says the Cho Hulk looks like he's missing details. What details is he missing? I thought they did pretty much everything that he had with his version. Let's see. I mean, before he like puts on a shirt and goes with the boring traditional look of a hero character. Let's see. All right, so let's take a look at this champion squad and what Amadeus Cho looks like here. I guess his pants are a little bit lacking in detail, but his head sculpt's a little bit different. I don't know. I think for a builder figure, he's okay. But if you're really into Amadeus, I know you'd be upset. Haley, I just want the cat. The cat's pretty cool with those super crazy tentacles. Kidger, with the upcoming Quantum Mania wave, I plan on getting Kang, Ant-Man, Wasp, Ultron, and maybe Crossfire because I found out he's a Hawkeye villain. Yeah, it'd be really cool. I just want the Pulse-Con Venom. I missed it. Is it super expensive now to get? I hope that'd be worthwhile. 80s Kid from the 90s. I forgot to watch Ghostbusters today. I just found out Ghostbusters today was this morning. Yeah. Kidger, did I hear that at CinemaCon, actors Carrie Coon and Paul Rudd appeared in their Ghostbuster outfits to promote Ghostbusters 4? When is that movie coming out? Jamelyn Parks, I'd be down for a new Mutant X Wave. I never got the Toy Biz ones anyway. Also, what about X Factor Investigations? Yeah, that's the whole thing where people go, oh, if they complete this team, then people will be out. And I feel like a lot of us are fans of like 20 teams just to be conservative with that number. And if they knock out 5 of those teams, it's not like, oh well, that's it. I don't want the rest of these teams. And then there's so many other teams that they get started. It's like, okay, cool. You're gonna do them, then I'll buy them too. And I think the X Factor Investigation Squad would definitely fit in that. Kwame says Aunt May figure wasn't the best, but it's Aunt May. Obscure figures aren't given the full budget treatment. I'm surprised they didn't do a Marissa Tomei Aunt May figure. That way we'd have her as a stand-in. Haley wants to know what's my favorite figure of all time. Oh boy, let's see. Let's see. Probably as a kid, my favorite figure of all time was my G.I. Joe Real American Hero Flint figure. He was on every mission. Right now, it's too hard to call. So I'd say the Transformers Masterpiece Optimus Prime, because that's the figure I really wanted as a kid. The Hot Toys Bespin Luke figure is just outstanding to me. Those two for sure. And I'm sure if I looked at my collection a little bit more, like some of these Marvel Legends, WWE figures would work. I really love the Statler and Waldorf figure that came from Palisades Muppet line. I love that whole line. So if I had to go with like, what's your favorite figure line? Maybe that would be up there really close to Marvel Legends because it's complete and they did such a great job on them. My only regret is Palisades didn't get to do the Muppets right after that, or Sesame Street right after that. Kelly Cox, why did the Marvel Legends speedsters never come with speed effects like DC Multiverse? I don't know. That is a really great question because that's something they should just throw in there as a norm, and that would be an effect piece that, if they included, would make a lot of sense for them to reuse. But I guess since Quicksilver is the preeminent speedster in the Marvel universe, and he's not necessarily a top 5, top 10 character who has different family members like Wally West or Barry Allen or Jay Garrick does, that's probably why they haven't invested in it. Afton Child wants to know, when is the Spider-Man No Way Home Marvel Legends wave coming out? Because I really want to get the Green Goblin. I'm crossing my fingers, it's a battle damage version suit at the end of the film. I would love for them to include the mask so I could do the version of Green Goblin that I wanted. I thought they did a great job with his costume, with the exception of no mask. Glenn says we need a Lethal Legion. That would be fun. I mean, I'm down for so many teams, and I'll figure out the display space later. I think Hasbro might be doing Street Fighter alongside of Jada Toys. I don't know. I feel like that Street Fighter license has been going everywhere. I mean, so many different companies are doing Street Fighter figures, and Hasbro seems suspiciously quiet and hasn't done anything. Maybe they'll just try to do their version of Capcom figures, so we could have the Marvel versions, we get the Jada Toys, then we could pair them up. But that would be the Big Eye Spider-Man that you were talking about. So that's one. Hey, good night, Christian. Thanks for hanging out with us. I thought Cho-Hulk looked MCU based. Just me? I don't know. Let's see. Hasbro waited 2 years after the movie to release a new No Way Home wave, and it's still not out, so there's no guarantee we're going to see it anytime soon. Cho-Hulk just looks like a lesser quality or a knockoff. Okay. Yo, TCB Toys, what's going on? I'm doing great. How are you? Did I see that Nightfall Batman review? And also how you feel about the figure? I can't wait for it. I'm really looking forward to seeing it in Target, and I'm hoping I have enough Target Circle reward points where I can get it for like $5, but definitely looking forward to that figure. Blake, I love a Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends Aunt May. And I think I would too, because that figure looks way more like the comic book version, just like Firestar looked way too much like Mary Jane from the comics. But yeah, I would be fine with that animated version of Aunt May versus the 90s Spider-Man cartoon one, because she doesn't look like the comic book version Aunt May. Got chopped in the Crub USA. Cancel that Spider-Man 3-pack. It was oof. Yeah, that price was too much for me. I just couldn't go with it. Hey, Doc Ock and Carnage 2-packs weren't on the retro cards. Yeah, well, maybe they'll release them later. You never know with them. Afton Shot, I haven't seen the Ant-Man Quantum Marvel Legends. When are they coming out? I don't know. It's so odd because that movie has come in theaters, left theaters, come to home video, and it's still no trace of the figures. It's really weird with that scheduling because you'd think at some point in that window these figures would have been out but the Quantumania figures are behind Guardians of the Galaxy. Looks like they might even be behind the Marvels wave at this rate. And to me, Snob says I would have much preferred live action Ant-Man. Yeah. TCP Toys, are you picking up the Blue Beetle movie wave? Thank you for that segue. So today, McFarlane Toys revealed they are doing their own version of Blue Beetle. And see if I can find a sucker back. Oh, here we go. Yeah, he looks really good. And this looks like one of those movie designs is not too far off from the comic book look. So I don't know if I necessarily need to go track down the comic book or wait for that one because I think this covers it just fine. And they have a lot of sculpted detail. This is the strength of McFarlane Toys with their license. They really knock out all the details, and it's a really nice looking figure. And then they also revealed the mega figure Carapax. And this is another one that looks really good. Probably going to be $39, $40, and then later you'll get it for $20 at Target when they're doing a clearance. But these are really strong figures. I'm curious about the rest of that wave, but at least those two look really good. I miss my Green Goblin. Still have the chair. My helmet and figure is gone. Yeah. I had that too, literally for the chair and having a civilian figure to run in there. Kwame Taylor, hashtag complete teams 2023, making a movement. Yeah, I mean, that would take a second. Kidder says, I have 3 possibilities for the villain for Doctor Strange 3. 1, at the end of Multiverse of Madness, introduce Clea, so we might see Clea's mother. 2, Nightmare. 3, Mordo, or 616. We might see Dormammu. We need Clea, especially now that she's MCU proper. Nightmare would be another really fun character to throw in there. And a Baron Mordo comic book version. Still need him. So it's weird we don't have that figure yet. TCB Toys, I heard the scale on Nightfall Batman is the same height as the original Nightwing figure back in 2020. That's when he was really trying to figure out the scales. I don't have that figure, so it's not going to bother me. And maybe now I can get that Nightwing that's part of that Titans Build-A-Figure wave and feel better about it. But yeah, I don't care. I feel like he still needs to figure out the scale. He has adults and the teen sidekick adults at the same height. He doesn't need to do that. He needs a smaller, mid-sized teen buck, sidekick buck, and then a Damian Wayne, old young Jonathan Kent mold. So we have 3 distinct styles and heights for these figures. But yeah. Jody, how's it going, brother? 2/3 of the way to Ripcord. Let's go. Yeah. I feel like maybe tomorrow Ripcord will be off the list. We'll keep it moving. Still hoping for Nightfall Bane and Joker. I need a re-release of that Nightfall Bane because I was like, I don't care. I don't have a classic enough Batman to go against him. And now it's like, I waited too long and they don't have him back out. ICT Vanny, according to Rectangular. Yes, there's a No Way Home later this year with their alternate heads. Yeah, which is going to make a lot of people who got that 3-pack very upset. Kidrick, I like that Snow Arctic bat. It's cool. It comes with a chainsaw. I might get one, maybe. I'm probably going to get 3 or 4. No joke. I mean, I love the look of that, and I just think it's really cool. Fitness Frank, what's up? Back here showing off the guns. Chamberlain Parks, Joe Hulk is a lesser quality knockoff. Sorry, I liked Amadeus better before he became a Hulk. He was a much more interesting character. I agree with you. I'm not really a fan of this whole let's switch out and swap out every character, make them derivative of each other. I think the only character that kind of works with is Flash because he's got the family and his family tends to spread out and not necessarily just be right up under him. But yeah, I don't need a Hulk family. I mean, She-Hulk was the beginning and end of it for me. I don't need Son of Hulk. I don't need Rick Jones's A-Bomb. It's just, you're doing some weird stuff. Did I see Brad, the DC Geek review of Captain Atom? His scale is shorter than Booster Gold, even though he's using the Booster Gold body buck. That's not good. Well, Booster and Beetle are too tall, and maybe this is their way of trying to scale them down because I did not like the fact that Booster and Beetle were like towering over Martian Manhunter. It's like, no, no, no. So yeah, hopefully we'll get a better version, like a classic old school Blue Beetle, and they'll just release a better version of Blue Beetle. Haley loves the Blue Beetle. It's awesome. I think they did a nice job too. Mason Carroll. I hope the Blue Beetle movie is gonna be good, but I don't know. That's the thing. It's like the DC movies have been teasing us with quality stuff, and when they get it to us, it's sorry, we're gonna revamp the universe all over again. So I am hopeful that this works and that it stays part of the universe. Did I pre-order the G.I. Joe helicopter? I will very soon, but you absolutely have nothing to worry about. I will have this in my collection, and it will be like taking up the whole camera when I have it in hand. But I guess I'll just have to wait till the his tank when I can do that. Todd came a long way in such a little time. Those early figures were rough. Now they are fire. Yeah, I agree with you. Got trapped in the Corrupt USA. I did really like that Superman. I thought that was a fantastic figure, and that's still my default multiverse Superman. Really cool. I do have some, like, I need a better Batman. Looks like I'm finally gonna get that. I like the John Stewart. The Flash that originally came out is kind of wonky, but now we're getting that Flashpoint Flash, and that looks great. Another choice option for figure of the year in there. Rhino 4563. Thank you so much. Great stream. We need to build a figure strong guy in civilian clothes, bouncer outfit. Yeah, and then we can get Lily with him too. That'd be fun. I like Guido. I thought he was a really cool character, and I just loved his early stuff with X Factor and hanging out with X-Men. Afton Child says, I haven't even seen the Moon Knight and Mr. Knight Marvel Legends figures from the TV show. Really? Afton Child, where are you? I'm curious what region you're in, because they were pretty plentiful here for a long time, and they were sitting on the racks at my Target when they were hitting clearance prices. I haven't seen the release Moon Knight comic book from Spider-Man Homecoming. I really want to get them. Yeah, hopefully you can track them down. Kelly Cox, Nightfall, Batman, and Steel both get my vote for figures of the year so far. Yeah, they look like they'll be strong contenders. Just saw the latest Ant-Man movie. It's not the best movie. However, I think it's the best franchise in the whole MCU, in my opinion. Interesting. Where does Captain America rank with you? Because Iron Man and Thor are both real shaky and inconsistent. But I think for me, the Captain America films are just like one of the best trilogies, period. I don't even need the comic book asterisks. I really think they did great with those. Dang, made the right call not getting the 3-pack. Yeah, you did, because they were like killing us. Jody, what's your average and limit on army building? Well, apparently, according to Hasbro Pulse, my limit on army building is 5. I don't know. I think it really depends on the army builder. Like stormtroopers, I don't know if I can have enough. I mean, I'll just have to keep rearranging the shelf for them. So like right now, I have stormtroopers with my Empire, Star Wars, Rogue One shells, Mandalorian shells, because I can just stash them anywhere. My Rebels shelf, so they can work, and I can just stack them on all kinds of shelves. Cobra Troopers, I have a bunch of them. If Hasbro put more of those out, I wouldn't say no to just continuing to build them. For like specialists like the Alley Viper, I'm going to cap them out at 5. Scrolls, I would happily have gotten like 20, so I could have a whole bunch of them fight my Avengers to do my Avengers Kree Skrull War. But having 5 is kind of limiting, but I would have totally bought more of those. Did you pick up Calabac figure from McFarlane Toys? Not yet. That figure is amazing in person. I need more Apocalypse members like Barda, Granny, Desaad, Graven, the Furies. Yeah, that was the thing with the DC Classics line. It felt like they did so much more than any other company had done in terms of the new gods, but I still was like, you're so close. Give us a Granny Goodness. Give us a High Father. Give us a Forever People. Give us the Infinite Man. And, you know, we got a really great Metron. We got Forager. We got Light Ray, Orion. Mr. Miracle's really great. Holds up. Both versions of Steppenwolf, Mantis. It's like, yo, keep it coming. But yeah, all those I'd love to see Todd tackle. Those would be really fun figures. Robert, just a tiny bit of support, my man. No, there's no such thing as a tiny bit of support. Every bit of support matters to me, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Fitness Frank, Fantastic Four She-Hulk would be cool. Yeah, I feel like we need her like soon. How come Superman always gets beat up or killed? Worst hero ever. I mean, I think bad writers really struggle to convey some vulnerability with him. But if you want to read a really good run of Superman, please check out the DC Rebirth Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason version of Superman, where they had Superman training John. Such a great read. Right now, Joshua Williamson and oh man, I'm gonna have to remember it later. Maybe most of you guys can help me out. Joshua Williamson is doing a really great run of Superman with Jamal Campbell. Really good so far. I think they're 4 or 5 issues in, but it's a really solid run. Philip Kennedy Johnson also did a run on Superman on Action Comics. It's worth checking out too. So definitely go to those. But if you want to read a good Superman, do not under any circumstances read anything from Brian Michael Bendis. I heard we're getting a 3-pack of Ultraman, Superman, and Atomica. Yes, that's true. I mean, as far as true as I can say, because we haven't seen anything, but yeah. Rhino also says Choi Hulk looks like an MCU. Man. Dark Knight 297 says McFarlane's scale is terrible. All the character figures in his line are taller than Superman and Martian Manhunter. Yeah, maybe it'd just be easier if he did a taller Superman and a taller Martian Manhunter. I think there was one Batman version that was taller than Superman. I was like, no, Todd, what's going on, man? So yeah, maybe that's what he just needs to do. Taller Superman and John Johns, and everything is fixed. Blake says Doc Samson is so needed. He was the perfect super soldier the military was looking for. Strange is not a more pivotal character. You know what? We've got this new Captain America movie coming. No longer New World Order because, but it's called Brave New World now. And maybe Doc Samson will be introduced in that, and that'll encourage the Hasbro team to get a comics version out before his MCU version. But he is definitely something. I feel like there's a whole wave of Hulk figures that we're really missing that they should get on because there's so many great characters kind of waiting for their time in Marvel Legends. General Thunderbolt Ross would definitely headline that list, but Doc Samson would definitely be on there too. Kindred, did I hear that NECA was facing a lawsuit with Rory Snyder's estate because they were doing a retro claw figure? Brody from Jaws, but it got canceled indefinitely. That's not good. I think NECA does some cool stuff, so you hate to see something like that. Fitness Frank, McFarlane scale hates other figures, yeah, even within their own scale. Kindred, they were able to release the Shark Hunter and Shark Biologist. Yeah, I hope for people who wanted those Jaws figures, they got what they could because it sucks when a license screws everything up. As an Alien super mega fan, I still want an Apone. I want a real classic Drake to go along with my other figures, but yeah, I have to make do. Robert's Infinite Realms. On legacy characters, some work. Jane, First Thor, and Walker, Cap, and original work for me. Some fall flat like She-Hulk. It depends on many factors. Yeah, I think some are really good. And I think if you look at Jeff Johns' Justice Society run, he showed you how well he could do legacy characters and why they're important and why they're really cool if done right. But if they're not done right, it's a mess. Amazing Carol, does anyone know when the next Hasbro Pulse sale is? They had one around this time last year. Well, they had one not so long ago. I want to say April. So they probably won't do another one till closer to probably after PulseCon, which I think was in October. So they'll probably do another one in November, around Black Friday time. So if you're stacking money, save it for then. Jody, I think Hasbro would get a lot more backers for the Dragonfly. They dropped his thing in the last couple of weeks of the campaign. Yeah. And I really think that's kind of tricky where we haven't gotten what we've already backed and funded and paid for. And it's like, hey guys, you want to come fund another thing? Or it's like, it'd be really cool if I had my his tank to be like, oh man, this Dragonfly would be awesome. So yeah, that's definitely something they should be doing a little bit better with these things. TCP Toys. People are getting turned off the MCU. Only movie that was good from Phase 5 was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Excuse me. That was just the second one so far. We've got Quantumania and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Everything else was Phase 4, but it was real up and down with that Phase 4. I should break down. Tell you what, Jason, I'll break that down again. What went wrong with Phase 4 and what they need to do for Phase 5. But now with the Writers Guild strike, it's going to be a while for we get this fixed. Maybe they can implement some suggestions. Was that comic book Black Panther from the Wakanda Forever? Good Black Panther. Yours is a Jack Kirby inspired Avenger figure. Yeah, I think it's good. Like you just have to ditch the cape, kind of, sort of, and it's a really good figure. What I would love to see Hasbro do with some of these figures like Black Panther is cut that little eye slot a little bit wider and deeper so you can actually see it's a black dude in there. Same deal with Iron Man figures where it's not just the black abyss with the mask, but we can actually see the eyes. That would give me the double or quadruple dip in both characters' case. I'd love to see them do a little bit more like that. But for now, that Black Panther, which was on super clearance for a long time, is really good. James Green, you haven't seen Moon Knight either in Houston. Okay. So yeah, I'm curious about that. What's going on with all these, the distribution? I heard we're getting a Supergirl Rebirth and Black Lightning from the comic that I can't remember. I need to see a Metamorpho this time. Yeah. Now I'm trying to remember what that Black Lightning was too. Give me a sec. I should be able to pull that up based off of the rumored list that we got way back when. Let's see if I can find that for us. Let's see. All right. Oh, there's Supergirl. So Supergirl's DC Rebirth, and where is the? This is from Bass Mendoza, projectactionfigure.com. Definitely want to make sure to give credit as credit is due. So there's the Batwing that we already know is coming. Carapax that we've seen, and Blue Beetle that we've seen. Anti-Monitor still waiting on. Let's see. Maybe this is a page 2 figure, of course, just because I said it was on this one. Let's go see if we can find this Black Lightning. Darn it. Maybe he's not on here either. I thought I saw that Black Lightning, but I can't find it now. So yeah, I think I know what you're talking about, but hopefully we'll get a Metamorpho. That seems like a kind of figure that Todd would have a lot of fun doing. Into Me Snob, first cap is cool, but not the whole franchise. Okay. And Dark Knight totally disagrees. Ant-Man movie franchise is the worst. And Kelly Cox absolutely agreed, Jeff. Captain America MCU is untouchable. Yes. Fitness Frank, Scroll re-release would be buff. Yeah, I mean, we've got, I feel like they should be doing him too. I mean, I guess we got that one with the Spider-Woman, but yeah, we should knock that. Blake, Russo brothers just knocked every MCU movie out of the park. Bring them back. Yeah, it feels like they don't really know what they're going to do now with Kang Dynasty and this other Avengers Secret Wars. And for me, it's like wave the flag, dump the Brinks truck, do whatever you need to do to get them back. McFarlane and the 2 writers for Endgame and Winter Soldier, Civil War, and Infinity War. Bring all them back because that was a crew. I did an image search of Marvel White Tiger and saw some really cool fan art. And there's talk of a Netflix series. A Netflix series? Not on not there, huh? That's interesting. I feel like that'd be a Disney Plus deal. Do I have an IG? Yes. Stay tuned. I'll post it so you can check it out. Speaking of Superman getting beat, Young Justice Superman is so weak. Couldn't even get yeah, they had to make him weak on that because it wasn't even a Justice League show. My brother and I made the constant joke that the first season of Justice League, Superman had to get knocked out all the time just so Hawkgirl could save the day with her mace. Loston, Doc Samson and Rick Jones 2-pack. Gotta happen. And I would be happy with that too. Mason, I would love a Graviton and Chemestro with a mask head and a helmet head. Also new Crimson Dynamo and a purple Wonder Man. I do want a different version of Wonder Man, but I don't want that Ion version just yet. I need some other versions of Wonder Man before we go that way. Lost, and I want a Drake and Apon. Yeah, I mean, that'd be cool. Fitness Frank, DC Comics have definitely become a preferred read for the Frank. Just wish the figure scale better with Marvel on shelf. Well, you could always go the Mayfix route. You just have to pay a little bit more. TCB Toys, all Ty got to do is make a Batman the same scale as 3 Jokers, and Owlman, Superman needs to be in that Ultraman body buck. Yeah, and Wonder Woman, they're the same scale as Batman. It feels like that should be that simple, but for whatever reason, it's never that easy. Jamelin Park says DC does legacy characters infinitely better than Marvel. Yeah, I think that was the strength of the multiverse. It's like, okay, we've got this version of Green Lantern. We're going to move on to a new one. And then in the 90s, we got Kyle, we got Connor, we got Wally. And it's like this whole new generation of these characters bringing the character, the name, the legacy forward for the new generation. I just feel like they've kind of lost their way with some of that. Lawston Wallace says modern writers want to deconstruct all the classic characters. They're obsessed with it, it seems. They are, and it's making for really bad comic books that aren't fun anymore. And I don't need my heroes to be as miserable as real life. I read them for escapism. I don't need, Cap worrying about where he's getting his money. I just want him to fight up some bunch of Hydra goons and kick tail and hang out with Falcon and have a poker game with the Thing, Doctor Strange, the rest of the Fantastic Four, and Wolverine, and have fun. That's what I want for my comic books. Mason wants a vintage. We got to show this dude's black. I would love a Black Panther with his mouth and eyes shown with no sleeves. Going super old school. Kedrick, speaking of NECA and aliens, haven't done a Corporal Pharaoh, Spunkmeyer, Dedrick the Medic, Marine Chick. I don't think they've done Gorman. Yes. I feel like that's a line that's never going to get completed. It's probably not. And I feel like at least they got most of the core characters. Love that they work Frost in there. But yeah, there are a few more that I would have wanted to see in there because Aliens is one of my all-time favorites. This week, I'm going to pick up Black Manta, Ocean Master, Necron, Man Bat, and Swamp Thing. I'm finally caught up on my figures. That's an impressive haul. And James said, I heard there's a glow-in-the-dark Swamp Thing. Yes, that's coming too. Frustrated Fan Sports Show. Thanks for coming through, man. Jamelin, I'm a huge Joe fan, and I'm fully in on classifieds. I did back both HasLabs, but as a general rule, no brand should have one start and end before delivering the previous and no overlapping campaigns. Yeah, I feel like that should just be the norm where it's like, this comes before you go, let's take some more from you too. No, I haven't seen Across the Spider-Verse yet. I just got my wife to watch Into the Spider-Verse. So now that she's versed in the Spider-Verse, hopefully we'll see it really soon. Ryan, I'm going to army build the Ultrons from the Quantum Mania wave. Already ordered 4 and plan on getting more. That should be fun. We need more members of the Teen Titans characters. Yeah, for sure. I'm not saying the Ant-Man movies are the best. However, they have been the most consistent, unlike the others, in my opinion. Says Into Me Snob. Afton Child, I would like to see McFarlane do Mr. Miracle and Big Barda. Yeah, like I feel like he would go nuts doing Big Barda, and as long as he just stays pretty classic, he would knock out Mr. Miracle too. Fitness Frank feels greedy, but a Guardians of the Galaxy Wonder Man, please. Oh man, I'm curious. I gotta see what this looks like. Robert's Infinite Realms. I agree. DC handles legacy characters better in most cases, with the exception of Flash. Splash, still lost there. Yeah. Kind of shocking that NECA Aliens didn't sell better. Did they sell poorly in your area? Because that was, pretty much exclusive to Toys R Us back in the day and stores like Suncoast, 2 RIP stores and FYE eventually. Blake, thank you so much, as always, my good friend. I really appreciate your support and hanging out so often with us in the chat. Thanks for always bringing the heat and enthusiasm with your channel. It's appreciated. Thank you. Every one of you guys are appreciated in keeping me company as I talk about figures. That's always fun. Ace Kids from the 90s. Marvel doesn't know what they're doing anymore with the movies and TV. I think they're trying to do too much. I feel like if they focused on movies and less on the TV shows, or make the TV shows shorter than 8 or 6 episodes, I feel like that's where they're kind of tripping up, because by the time you watch an 8-episode season, that would be the equivalent of 3 movies that you've gone to see. So you're essentially watching the trilogy of this character. And in most cases, they're not doing superhero stuff until the last hour or 1 hour in those 8 episodes. So I think that's what's messing them up. Kidred, same with Predator. They're never going to get Carl Weathers to sign his likeness, but has it like that for the Star Wars Black Series, so NECA whatever get the team completed. But didn't they do the Rocky one? Was he not? I thought they did an Apollo one. So I don't know what the likeness issue is with Predator. I guess if nothing else, we could use one of those Apollo Creed heads and please make sure that I'm not remembering this incorrectly because I really thought, yeah, they've done one. I don't know what the deal is with the likeness. That's really interesting because it feels like we should have that figure now. Now let's go here because I love what the guys at Toy Arc do with their photography. It's amazing. But yeah, here is the Carl Weathers head sculpt from NECA. I don't know why it's any issue whatsoever of getting that figure for us for Predator. I mean, that should be a simple deal. But if you can track this figure down, then there you go. You got your Predator Carl Weathers figure. You did do but Dutch, Billy, and Hawkins. Maybe that's the choice there. Maybe you could do it that way. I want a pinless Vision with sculpted details to replace the white one in my display. The white Vision is kind of weak. I got one because GameStop had it for super cheap, and I wanted that iteration of the Avengers. But yeah, they could do a better one, make him bigger, a little bit wider. I think that would be really cool. Afton Child. I would like to see as a DC movie the Batman Who Laughs. I like the Batman Who Laughs. He's my favorite Batman, evil all time. I'm going to get the McFarlane Batman Who Laughs figure. See, I really loved when he first showed up, but then he started becoming too overpowerful and got you covered on every angle. I love when my villains have some vulnerability. That's why I think some of my favorites are Flash's Rogues because they're not perfect, but when they work together, they can almost beat Flash in every instance. And I feel like if you make your villains too powerful all the time, they're not as entertaining or compelling or as interesting. Robert, multiverse is difficult in best cases when and they're trying to make that idea for an average audience, which is the main issue with the MCU. I think you're right on that. I think that is definitely something that, yeah, because like some friends ago, like, wait, why are we having another Spider-Man? And this was when Tom Holland's Spider-Man was showing up in the MCU proper, and I was like, well, because it's time they got to get a younger version, but it does get confusing, and I feel like as long as you explain it well, it works. But if you don't, then it gets real confusing. Fitness Frank, yeah, I just want a cloth cape for the White Vision. Still have it carded. Yeah, that's what you can almost keep carded until hopefully they make a better one because there's some fixes and some changes that they really could do with that one. Fleshing out that West Coast Avengers team. That West Coast Avengers team is looking pretty good. I hope we get a original Human Torch so we can get that squad too. We've got my man Hank in his red jumpsuit, which I'm so excited about. And we've got Hawkeye, we've got Mockingbird without the pants. So we've got a lot of that team. We still need Living Lightning, but we're getting there and it's pretty cool. Jalen Parks, likeness rights are always included when you sign on to do anything Star Wars. Is it a fact that Carl Weathers won't let them do him as Dylan? I don't know. I mean, it seems like they had him, so maybe he just decided the Star Wars money is good enough, but I don't know. Is there some kind of situation where if you're licensing your likeness off to Disney, another company can't do it? Maybe that's the issue. 80s kids from the 90s, exactly. Look at Cobra Commander, Starscream. They have major character flaws, self-interest. Yeah, absolutely. Oops, how did that happen? Got trapped in the Corrupt USA. They never made the Jim Lee cable, I see. That's one they could do too. Mason Carroll. Is there a Walmart exclusive USA agent or did Dan? No, I'm pretty sure Dan is in the know. He knows everything is coming down. I am sure there is going to be one. It's just a matter of when they're going to release it. I wonder if this would be the ForceWorks version of US Agent because I feel like we've got both versions that we really need of him. Kindred, Marvel Legends waited for like Spider-Man Far From Home. They never did unmask head of Mysterio. Jake Gyllenhaal never signed away his likeness, refused, but yet the Breaker head you can use as Quentin. Hey, that's a good idea for that. And I know they did a Hot Toys Mysterio, but did that figure have a removable head sculpt? Yes, it did. I had to check real fast, but yeah, that figure we did get the likeness. It's really funny the way this works out because some of them are like, "Hey, yeah, you could use my likeness," but we got that one for the side for the Hot Toys version. I don't know why it would be like, "No, not doing that." Fitness Frank, yes, the Dr. Pym and Mockingbird are a huge win, absolutely, and so happy to get those figures in an improved, much better version of Tigra. Aftonchild. I would like to see a West Coast Moon Knight figure too. Yeah, with all those gold bangles, because that was my exposure, my first one to Moon Knight. I was like, okay, this is cool. I love the whole look with the white and the gold and then the silhouetted mask. That was really cool. So yeah, I'd like to see that too. Jamlin, Disney owns Predator nowadays. Yeah. Did you guys see that latest Predator? I really like that one. I thought that was pretty cool. Kidred, Michael Keaton's very touchy about his likeness from what I heard. Well, I mean, he's only was so concerned about it because we've got all these cool Batman figures coming out lately, and we got them coming in Sideshow, or I keep saying Sideshow, but it's really the Hot Toys version. So we are getting these figures, and there we go. Sorry, trying to get this up so you guys can see this likeness of Michael Keaton. That didn't work either. Okay. Try the reverse, which is sneaky. All right, so here we go. Here's a Michael Keaton Hot Toys Batman. Really looks good. Of course, you've been trying to find the Batman from the Flash. You've seen this McFarlane Toys unmasked head sculpt. So I don't know what's going on. Some of these work a little bit better than others, apparently. 80s kids from the 90s. I'm still waiting for a classic Magneto. Yeah, the one we got could be better, and I feel like they would improve it whenever they get around to it. So hopefully that will be coming very soon. Omega 579, love watching toy YouTubers my age. Those young kids don't have any knowledge of comics and only know characters from movies and cartoons. Yes, yeah. It's funny kind of seeing like the introduction of where some different YouTubers come into comics and in these figures. It's like, what? You don't know any of this stuff. But you know, it's cool because they're reaching the demographic that I don't, and it's all good. So more voices talking about toys is not a bad thing. But thank you for being able to relate to me going old school with all these figures and all that good stuff. How much different was Force Works US Agent? Never read it. It was back during that let's make everything super extreme, and like Wanda had a different, I mean, she had like a let's go super sexy with this look. You know, like how they do a little bit too often with figures, just like that Invisible Woman look. Here is what Force Works look like. So Wonder Man, he pretty much holds the same, but this is Scarlet Witch's outfit, so you can tell it's the 90s here. Spider Woman's here as well. This is US Agent's outfit, so this is definitely a different look for him and one that would make for a pretty cool figure. I mean, basically, we've got this Force Works team. They could also do Century, but that would be a fun team. It's probably one that if you never read it, it might feel kind of dated, kind of like, oh gosh, you guys are trying a little bit too hard to be edgy and all this stuff like was the norm for 90s comics at that time. But it was definitely an acquired taste, but I think it'd be fun to get him in this outfit. And definitely really the only unique look for him I need at this point. Mason, who would you want to be in the rumored Marvel Knights wave? Let me see if I can pull up this poster. I had this back in the day, and I would want all of these characters. Nomad for sure. I think Kazada drew it, and I had it, you know, like most of you all, I'm sure, had the big wall posters back in the day. Of course, now I can't find it. Oh boy, that's sad. Anyway, I was hoping to find it so you could see it, but Nomad would be one. Shang-Chi, a different version of him. That'd be fun. Maybe this is where we get a better version of Daredevil. Lots of options for him. Colleen Wing, that'd be another one. Rhino says I like the Force Works. Wonder Man from Marvel Legends. Yeah, we need that tank top version of Wonder Man because that way he works with the West Coast Avengers as well. And that's the outfit that he wore for a really long time. And it'd be really great to have that in figure form. Mason, I would like a modern Daredevil because I missed out on the 3-pack and he's going for almost $100 on the aftermarket. That's wild because that figure looks really small. I think I've seen him like the same size as Spider-Man, and I kind of like Daredevil a little bit bigger than Spider-Man. That's crazy. Got trapped in the corrupt USA. If that's the case about Keaton, he's going to be upset about that David Bowie head sculpt. Yeah, because I was like, this does not look like Michael Keaton. But the Hot Toys version, as always, looks outstanding. And I have forgot to talk about that because I've been talking about all this cool stuff. But let's get into it real fast before we wind down. The Ezra Miller Flash head sculpt is amazing of this Hot Toys Flash figure. I think they really knocked this whole deal out. I mean, once you guys see the Flash, you might want this figure too, but they did a really good job with this thing. They've actually implemented a LED setup in here. Now, good luck trying to put those batteries in. This will make his chest light up. I think that's a really smart way to go with that. And so you can always have that logo and insignia lit up. These head sculpts look really good. So we've got the rolling eyeballs, which I always think is a great feature on these figures. So you can get different emotions simply from moving the eyes a different direction. That's always cool. And here you see how he's got the cowl down. That comes down in the movie a different way than we kind of expect. But it's really well done. And they've got this really cool thing where he hits a little darkness and his suit lights up, so you can imagine him zooming through the Speed Force. It's a really nice feature on that too. And here's all the accessories. You got a special edition bonus ring, so you can rock this around and impress everybody and tell them you're the Flash. Great accessories as always. I think I know what the spoilers are with these other faces, but I think that's a nice touch that they do include them. And then he has a drop down, which you've seen in the trailer for the visor. Really nice figure. So Hot Toys has done a really good job with this and really worth tracking down and looking at if you like the Flash movie once it comes out. They refuse to make animated MVC style buff Magneto. Yeah, more of that Jim Lee style. And I'm kind of wondering why they haven't done that yet. I know it's pricey, but Mafex Magneto is excellent. Yes, it does look really, really spectacular. And Mafex will really get you because it's like, why don't I have this figure? So let's take a look at it real fast. Since Jamelin mentioned it, this is the 179 Magneto figure, cloth cape as well. The great Jim Lee style head sculpt. He looks nice and beefy. He looks a little fierce and intimidating as well. I love how the cape flows around him. So that's good to see. Cape on that end. Got some nice effect pieces. I'm not really feeling the shadowy head sculpt, but that's something that they did do in the comics every so often. I really like those orb pieces, though. Really nice. So that's him. Those are the different head sculpts. Really fantastic all around. Any accessories. So that's him. I think he's probably worth getting for those of y'all disappointed about what we've gotten so far. Kidrick. Hasbro did a Vulture figure from Spider-Man Homecoming, but they never did the unmasked head sculpt. Same for Funko. Funko was able to unmask, had a Mysterio of Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah, and I guess because it's a Funko, they can kind of get away with that. Fitness Frank. Oh, wow. Read the Hawkeye solo run after West Coast, but never got into Force Works. Looks worth the read. I would imagine you could probably track that down without paying too much nowadays. Maybe that's something, if you have an Ollie's around you, you can check it out and find it without too much hassle. I'm just looking real fast because Amazon has it for a little bit more. So it's $32.99. You can get it right now, but you can get it cheaper for $24 basically. Not bad, especially if you like reading old school comics from a certain time period. There's your fun in that. 80s kids from the 90s, I'm using my Optimus Prime voice. There's a box office war between Spider-Man and Transformers. I wonder who's going to win beside us who likes seeing cool movies. God Trapped in the USA coming with the heat. Woo! Yeah, that rap sheet is definitely crazy for 1 star The Flash. So yeah, boy, came through with the heat on that one. 80s kids from the 90s. When is the Hot Toys Flash release? Well, with Hot Toys, that's always the question. Probably this time next year. So it's going to be a minute. You don't have any Hot Toys? I don't want to tell you should go into Hot Toys because it's a huge rabbit hole once you start. but they really deliver outstanding museum quality style figures. So you can get your cool 6-inch figures that are affordable and then have your definitive versions of these characters. I really like the Hot Toys figures I have, but they are not cheap by any means. Mason Carroll, I hope they recast Barry because I would like a blonde Flash and a less goofy Flash. Save it for Wally. Yeah, they kind of messed up on that part. But I'm really curious. I'll be really interested to see what you guys think of the Flash when it drops next week. Because I definitely didn't like the Josh Whedon inspired take on the Flash from the theatrical version. The Zack Snyder version was a lot more tolerable, and I think this version is even better. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what you guys think when it comes out. James, another great live. See y'all next Thursday. Jeffrey, as always, you're great. Thank you. Kendrick, I hope Marvel Legends does a She-Hulk Daredevil in the yellow and red suit because I missed out on the one from Netflix series. They had him at Walmart one time. I didn't pick him up, and now he's expensive. Oh, I'm sure he is super expensive. Guy trapped in the corrupt USA. Maybe Exciter had these sweet figures, but my mentality can't mix brains. Yeah, brands. I hear you. Afterchild. I'm right or wrong. The actor who played Negan from The Walking Dead is going to be in season 4 of The Boys. You are correct. He is going to be in there. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, really good actor. So it'll be fun to see what he does. Robert's Infinite Realms came back. The Mayfix Magneto. I just got it. Excellent. Filming my review now. He's pricey, but maybe worth it on this one. I think for nothing else, that head sculpt, the cape being able to be posable and flowing the way you really want your Magneto, I can see why it would be worth it. 80s kid from the 90s, Blue Beetle looks so cool. So I think I've caught up to everyone in the comment section as of now. Let me put this out to you guys. Kind of debating, seeing what time I should do these lives. Does 7:05 work, or you guys still find happy with the 8:05 one? For everybody who's left out, I'll put it in the poll. But let me know what you guys think about that. If you'd rather see and do these chats earlier, an hour early, or stick to 8:05. Afterchild, I'm going to get my first hot toy, and it's going to be Ripley from Alien. That is not a bad choice. Ripley is awesome. One of the best characters they threw out in movies ever. Mason Carroll, since they're doing random animated Spider-Man 3-packs, Uncle Ben and Mysterio. And what would be the other one for that? We want to see, or are we saying 2-packs? I feel like we should do another one. 7 or 8 works. Okay, either one. Either way. All right, cool. I just want to make sure that I'm not keeping people up past their bedtimes doing these lives. All right, well, let's see here. I want to see if there's anything else I need to break down. Austin, I just received my Mezco Fantastic Four set. Oh, cool. Austin, what do you think of that set? I am so curious if that is worth it because it looks great, and I'm really curious to see what people are thinking about it. Mason, yeah, 2-packs. Yeah. What about Flash? I feel like he'd be somebody that would pair up well, maybe with Chameleon, because I feel like he needs to be in the set too. So I love to see what they would do with him. Oh, before I wind this down, I want to show you guys so you can check this out real fast. This really cool video I came across on YouTube. And this is from G.I. Joey. He has a massive setup display, and it is crazy. Please make sure to check out the whole thing. But this is his G.I. Joe collection. It's the vintage Real American Hero line, but he's got an aircraft carrier with a second level so you can see inside. It looks really great. I just wanted y'all to check it out. G.I. Joey, G.I. Joe Battlefield Terrain Project, so you can actually see it. But this thing, whew, I'm all kinds of jealous of the space and how amazing this thing looks. I mean, so many different levels. It's really impressive. And I'm like, oh, wow. If only I had the space. But check it out. It's really cool. Chameleon and Flash or Electro. Yeah, there you go. If they introduce Captain America villain Nuke in the MCU, what actor would you like to play him? And who do you think should be Sam Wilson's love interest? I think it should be Diamondback. And this would be a perfect way to introduce her. It seems like they're doing the Serpent Society. So I agree. I think that would be really cool to see her there. I don't know who would work for Diamondback or Nuke. I hadn't really thought about those. Who would you want to see? Should I get the Studio Series Prime or wait for a Masterpiece version? Two totally different price points. if you're talking about from the Beast War or the latest Rise of the Beast, I think you should probably go with the studio series if if cost is an issue, because the masterpiece is going to be way more expensive. Fire. Amazing. Yeah. Jalen, you saw it too. Dream collection setup. I don't see that's the thing where it's like it's so great, but for me, I gotta put so many different lines. Like I don't have that much real estate for just one line, but whoo, that is an amazing collection. Austin, still don't know about that Luke Cage figure or Blue Marvel. I don't think they've announced either one just yet in terms of when they're coming out to us, but yeah. There should be Flash and Alistair Smythe. Yeah, we need a new Spider Slayer too. Got trapped in the corrupt USA. Ty started doing swappable heads. Finally, yeah, I'm so glad he's doing that because I really like the whole deal of paying for two different figures just to get the unmasked portrait. I feel like you're doing cool stuff with sculpts, but it shouldn't be like I'm paying for two figures just to get the separate head sculpt. I really like that the Flash does have that. Into Me Snob says, I want a Flag Smasher. Yes, from Falcon Winter Soldier series. See, I want the comic book version. I think that outfit looks really cool with the black and white. And I don't know how exciting they would do with the comic book, the MCU based version of her. Afton Child, I'm still hoping and waiting for Hasbro to make a movie version of Carnage Marvel Legends figure. I don't know if they're going to get around to that one because I think that Venom was kind of a one off, but who knows? Yo, Joe. G.I. Joe is there. Absolutely, 80s kid. Mason Carroll. What is the Blue Marvel costume going to be? Well, there's still a couple more they could do. They could do the one with the cowl covering his skin so he can operate as a superhero, or we can go with the more modern one where he's like, I'm black, y'all, and has a head sculpt showing. So there's that. The one that we got was the most recent, just chilling, doing this adventure thing, not a superhero anymore look. So there's two different ones that would work. Which Marvel Legends Monica Rambeau figure you like, the movie version or the comic book version? Not choosing. I like them both. I think the Photon figure is a really great sculpt all around, from the hair, the likeness, the outfit, and then the comic book one is the one I wanted to see for a long time. The only thing I'm upset about is that she does not have double jointed elbows. Pretty upset about that because I was hoping to see that look with her, and we don't have that. So it's kind of a disappointment because I feel like there is no real reason they couldn't do that. Let me pull this up here real fast so y'all can see what I'm talking about. So SB Toys actually has them, and let's see if I can pull up. So SB Toys has them in hand and has some really cool pictures. So you can see this Doctor Doom. Monica's head sculpt in the combo version looks amazing, really cool. And there's all the accessories. She'll look really great on the shelf, but I really wish she had double jointed elbows, the bicep shoulder joint. I just kind of wish they had implemented that as well, because that's what we need from our modern figures. So I'm really kind of like, guys, come on, what are we doing? So we got that. Dr. Doom looks really good. Cannot wait to have him front and center in my Secret Wars display. But yeah, I think those will look cool, and I just wish that they had done the actual head sculpt so we could see her and have her with the double jointed elbows, the bicep swivels, all that good stuff. Kindred, I think Naomi Rapace would be a perfect choice to play Silver Sable. Yeah, she's really cool. I think she would be really good in that. She was just in a movie with Henry Golden where she played an assassin, so I could see that really, really easily. Into Me Snob, I just mostly want her unmasked head for my Infest Nest. Who'd you cast as a Joes, including Snake Eyes in the reboot? A blonde guy for Snake Eyes, so his face can be horribly disfigured, and he learns how to do ninja training from his boy Storm Shadow. Has Marvel Legends ever done Super Patriot? I wonder how character like Nomad Left Winger would sell. Probably more than you would want them to. It would probably be a little bit disappointing. Like, oh no. Let's see. But I'm pretty sure they did. I think Toy Biz was the ones that did a Super Patriot figure. I'm just pulling it up here. This is way back in the day. This is from our friends over at the Fush. So let's put it down so you can see it a little bit better. like I said before, it's an old school version, so not as much articulation, but pretty solid looking figure. He holds up pretty well, can do all kinds of fun stuff like kicking. Uh yeah, I mean he's a Toy Biz figure. Came in a box set with the rest of the Young Avengers. He's a decent figure. I assume they're gonna make one of them though. Fitness Frank, just wish they had soft goods, maybe an aftermarket cape for Doom. Yeah, but that version of Doom didn't have the cape, so it's still accurate. Intimate Snob, the upcoming Monica has an okay portrait, but still gonna be a little better. But that body looks frumpy. I wonder if they had used the default Captain Marvel mold, that would have worked a little bit better. Got trapped in the Corrupt USA. They need to stop with the single elbow. Yeah, I feel like, especially for her, there's no reason to do that. Mason Carroll, I might buy a cloth costume for that Doctor Doom in the 2-pack from our villains display because I only have a white one. Oh, you definitely want to get a classic green version of Doctor Doom. So the Monica and Doc Doom figures is out. Some people are getting them in. I need to check real fast to see where he is, to see if I can get some insight in terms of where, if he picked them up from some online retailer or if he got an early copy of them for review. Let's see. Oh, it looks like SB Toys got them directly from Hasbro, so they gave him a preview sample to show some cool pictures. So we'll probably still be getting them closer to that August 2nd release date, but it was just a preview to sell some more copies. Got trapped in the Corrupt USA. Wish Ghostbusters had the treatment Joe fans got. Yeah, that would be really cool because it feels like they don't have the definitive figures I want to collect just yet. I would also like new original, new Avengers, or maybe even a new Iron Lad. Yeah, I think they would make perfect sense for a box set. I want a Marvel now Captain America. Yeah, I want a better version of Thor too. Roberts, night, my man. Good. You sleep for work. I'll catch the rest tomorrow. We're about to wind down soon, so yeah, thanks. Oh, I meant John Walker's Super Patriot before he first wore Cap's outfit. No, they definitely have not done that version. That's another way they could go with him. They went out of their way to make Snake Eyes as opposite as possible. Yeah, it was a really bad decision. Still waiting for the Metal Gear movie with Oscar Isaac as Snake. I really want a Venom Snake figure so bad. He's going to be great in that role. We need Battlestar. Yeah, those two would both be really cool and really amazing. I'd love to see that for both of them. All right, fellas. Thank you so much for hanging out and rolling with me. As always, we're going to do another show real soon. I'm assuming once we get this next reveal from Yo Joe June, I may pop back on here and do another live. But until then, thank you so much as always for watching. Thank you all for hanging out with me so long in the chat. Really appreciate y'all. This episode of Lyles Figure Files has been filed.